Hey, good evening. Welcome to the Nipissing Township Museum Board meeting this July 27, 2022. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Do we have any declaration of pecuniary interest? None? Okay, we will move on. For those of you that were here at the last meeting, would somebody like to accept the agenda or this agenda? Steve and Gladys. Those of you that were here at the previous meeting, would somebody like to accept the previous minutes? Mary and Steve, okay. And we'll start at number 5 on our agenda, and that's finance. Do you have an update on the?
I unfortunately don't have an updated budget, but I have the numbers from the museum, like the revenue.
Okay,
Like that.
yeah, you can give us those.
Okay, so
And then you might as well, after questions, you can go right into your manager's report.
so July revenue to date, obviously not including this week, $3,012.98, which brings the yearly total to $4,128.87. It's also worth noting that 680 of those dollars were donated from local businesses. So these were businesses that had been sent a letter asking for donations in general and for silent auctions. Specifically, some chose to give monetary support to the museum. So we included Hunter's Bay Marine, Tom Ray Lodge, Clean Water Solutions, Bowman's Life, and Indians Power Sport Repairs. So that's finances that I have. There will be updates and they will be at next month's meeting. And I apologize for that.
You're going to talk about the strawberries social or the Pie Fest in the manager's report?
Yes.
Okay, so is that money included in this?
Yes.
So
I have a breakdown of what was specifically Pie Fest. This is just the overall.
All right.
So for visitor statistics for July, we had 260 people through the museum, which brings the yearly total to date to 444. This includes people who visited the museum, just the candy store, both the museum and the candy store, and just events as well. So we have quite a lot of donations that have been offered just in the most recent while. For starters, just an update on the Clark family clothes that had been offered to us by Rachel Caldwell in the spring. I was in contact with him and they've actually been donated to 250 Clark. Perfect. And everyone is happy for them to stay there. So there's for anyone who wants a reminder, as I said, there's a document photographs and that will get passed around the room. And they should both be in the emails everything will be in the emails that were sent out. So I think last week and this morning or this afternoon, sorry. So the next item is a Union Jack flag, so like Great Britain. This was from the Knox Church in Nipissing, and it was kept in the box that contained all the Remembrance Day items that the church used. Nora Best offered it to the museum and she asked around but couldn't really find any additional information about this item. But it seems it has been around in the Remembrance Day box for a number of years. It is relatively large. It seems to be made of linen. The museum already has several Union Jack flags that are on display in the church.
Do we know where they're from? Do we have any provenance on them?
I don't believe so.
Does this one appear to be older?
It does. But I don't know where we would display it.
Are we displaying the other ones?
Yes, they're on stands and they're
that's
in
right.
the
That's
display
correct,
section in the museum. On either side of the.
Do we know where the other ones are from?
I'm not entirely sure.
Because I think that would have a bearing on it. If we have no idea where the other ones are from.
And this
And this one, we know where
it's
this
from the
one's
area.
from.
look up the provenance on all of them, and
Yeah.
whichever one is nearest, dearest to us, we'll keep it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So if I find, just to clarify, if I find provenance on the flag that we already have, I can ask the donor to take the new flag. And if I don't find provenance on the ones we have, I can accept it without bringing it to another board meeting. That,
Do you just want her to, if she finds the owners of the other one, do you want her to bring that to us first? Before we,
Probably.
okay, maybe bring it to us first before you contact the donor.
Which one is the old, like, what style are
they're stitched. So different color cloth stitched together rather than printed. Like, the one that Nora brought from the church looks to be linen to me, rather than cotton or anything else.
Yeah, and those sometimes they can even be as recent as the 1970s, because.
Yes.
Did you research that kind of flag and that material at all, Jillian, to try and date it?
I did not, and you'll see why in a second.
Okay.
Just 'cause there were a lot of other things, and I just ran out of time. So we'll bring that to the next board meeting, because that's not our question.
Yeah.
they? Where are the records for the United Church now? Or for that church? Yeah, who holds the records? Because all you have to do is go back through it, find out when they bought.
Yeah.
If it was, came from there, if it wasn't just donated.
I thought Jillian had reported that Nora couldn't find anything else.
I'm not sure if she checked records or if she just talked to people, other people at the church.
Yeah.
She told me, what she told me was that she believed it had been in that box for at least 20 years. That may be how long she's been involved with the church.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's who was the caretaker before?
We're gone.
May have
You would
been,
think Noreen. would know.
Noreen.
Yeah.
Noreen Bauman might know.
Yeah. I think that she would probably be the oldest one there that would actually live up in the church.
All right, so also being offered is a quilt. And this was made for Leila Job when she retired from the museum. So the donor was her grandson, I believe. And he believes it was made by someone local, but he wasn't sure exactly who. And it has a sort of image of the museum, the church building, in the center of the quilt. And it was, as I said, a gift upon her retirement. And her grandson remembers seeing it on her guest bed for many, many years.
Probably in the minute book. Can't remember what year she retired.
Well, Joe Steele was after her.
Yes.
So,
So she passed away in 2009.
Yeah.
How long was Joe? Period.
So just over 20 years. Yeah, so he's been out of there for 10 years.
We're talking 30 years. ago
Yeah,
now.
yeah, we're talking 30
I
years.
just think it's a unique item, specific to the museum.
Well,
but
I do too,
personally
yes.
think it's-
You know, there is some provenance on it when our museum and our church were on it.
Yeah, yeah. I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It was funny because when they came in and they said, I have a quilt to donate. And I said, oh, can you tell me the province? And they're like, just wait, let me show you.
yeah,
I was probably invited to that when she retired too, but I'm just. Too long ago.
So do you think it's something that's likely to be recorded in the minutes?
I would think so, yeah.
well, yes, there would have been something that said they were going to do that.
Okay.
And even if there was anything to do with the funding, it would have been mentioned in their
Okay.
treasurer's report or
Because I'm
whatever.
assuming the board
Well, it would have had to be passed by the board at the time.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Now, the office may know when Joe started.
Yeah,
They should probably.
Yeah.
So look his name up and find that up for you. And then you would know what just be before, the season before he started.
So are you wanting to defer the decision on that until I have that information, or do you want to make the decision?
I'd say we're going to keep
Keep
it.
it, yeah.
Okay,
We're going to keep it regardless. And
so that's okay, I just want to double check.
Yeah.
then we
The
gotta
official-
find, then we
go
gotta
ahead.
find the information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Just dates and times.
Keep first, yeah. So a portrait of Robert Eckford and his wife in their later years. The donor remembers seeing two portraits of Robert and his wife on display in the church, one younger, one middle-aged. I know we currently have a portrait of Robert Eckford alone, at a relatively young age, on display in the church at the moment. So it would be very similar to the portraits that we have already. Around possibly the donor couldn't remember exactly, but she thinks it was a bubble glass frame, of which we have a number. It's been a popular style for folks in this area. And I know we certainly have a large binder on the Eckford family in the museum. Are you suggesting we take it? I mean, if we could display the younger, the middle-aged, and the older, I think that would be really interesting. It certainly has provenance to this area, given the family. So, yes, it won't take up that much space. Okay. Agreement?
Yeah.
The next item is a number of irons that came from the Bennett family. So I have tried to follow up with the donor and asked her a little bit more specific information, but I haven't heard back. So there are 3 that would have been heated on a stove, 2 with one detachable handle between them. There was 1 gas iron and 1 electric iron. The museum already has a number of irons, and I compared them. We have quite a few. The only one I would recommend accepting would be the sad iron, which is the very old style that you heat on the stove. I do only have one example of that, and it's actually the miniature size.
Travel saw.
Yeah, but the other irons on offer were very similar to ones we had already. And I can't remember the number, but it was about 23 or something irons.
We have a lot of irons. Maybe
And
some in storage.
yeah, and there's yeah, and a number of them did have accession numbers and provenance. The other thing is she said her family lived on Bennett Road. Part of Bennett Road is in this township, part of it is not. And I'm still waiting to hear back whether they were on the part that is or not. It's still close to the area.
Yeah.
And if it's
The Bennett
the one with
farm?
the handle that we don't have, why would we
Yeah,
not take
it's a
that?
miniature. yeah.
Pardon me?
The Bennett farm,
Well, I don't know if she was specifically on the Bennett farm, but she was Bennett and she did live on Bennett Road.
well, they lived at the end of Bennett. Or the Bennett farm is at the far end of Bennett.
Yeah,
Road.
it's like the south end.
Yeah,
Okay. So do we
we'll
want?
get you a tour if you want.
Sure. So would we like to accept one of the irons, all of the irons, none of the irons?
Well, I like the idea of the miniature.
Probably the one.
We
Yeah.
don't have a
that we
miniature
don't
one.
Oh, we have a miniature one.
We don't have a regular size
Style.
one on display. I haven't had a chance.
Is
to look
that the
at it.
ones that take the handle?
No, it's the one that where the handle's built in.
It's all in one piece. I have one for a doorstop at my house.
Yeah, very probably.
I think I do.
We could use it for that.
Yeah, I would only keep the one. that we
That's
don't
different.
have.
One that we don't have this
Style,
year.
because if we have
Yeah.
20+ items.
We don't need more.
No, no.
The Nipissing Onions collection.
Yeah.
All right, so the next is the more family donation from Jane Russell. So on top of what has already been discussed at the previous board meeting, she is offering a few more items. Okay, a lot more items. So I have a list here and they'll also be in the document there. So there's a photo in a bubble frame of Grace and Album and Senior on their wedding day. The museum did at one point have this dress on display. Our catalog record says that the location is currently unknown and there is a note that it may have been returned to the owner.
The wedding dress?
Yeah.
We had that when we, did we not pack that up when we
I
cleaned
thought
the
they
old
had still
museum?
had it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
The bowling.
It might, the students might come across it in their
Oh, the
inventory
wedding
storage.
dress?
I don't know, we had a wedding dress.
But they still have quite a few boxes to get
We
through.
had a wedding
Yeah.
dress.
And they would necessarily, unless there's a physically attached number, they won't necessarily be able to
Yeah,
identify.
because I do remember there was a wedding dress.
Yes.
I don't know which
It's in one
one.
of those bins, I think, with paper in between, I think.
In the storage room, but
Yeah.
I don't know who's.
I don't know what it was either, but I know there's a wedding dress in there. If they have a picture and it's, you probably compare it, that's it.
Yeah, if it's the wedding dress, the picture of the wedding dress,
Yes,
then,
yeah.
yeah, that would be
Well,
great. to
that
have.
picture of the Bowmans would probably have been one of the weddings that was held in Nipissing. Really held in
Yeah.
Nipissing.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Oh, when Nipissing was a boomtown. Well,
Because they haven't moved very far away from it.
That's
Yes.
true, yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So everyone's agreed on yes? But, yeah, okay. There's also a photo in a bubble frame of J.B. Moore and his children in front of the car.
I like that.
Yeah,
Picture.
so,
That's
yeah,
nice.
I like all of those small donations, loved every one of them.
So how do people feel about that?
Yep.
So there was also a wooden box that used to contain a radio that Casey Moore traveled with during his Navy years. And it has inscriptions on it relating to Casey and his son Jackie, who used to play at being a spy with the box. The box is currently empty. She's not sure where the radio ended up. Depending on the conditions, it might be a nice item to use for the traveling suitcase exhibit that was discussed previously in meeting. And it has, because it has those inscriptions, it is relevant even without the radio.
Yeah.
The picture of the car, be nice if we could identify that that was the building in Nipissing where they lived, not when they lived somewhere else. You know,
I
I mean, if you're talking to somebody that might know, then that's a question to ask.
That's a good one, Laura. Yeah, that was a good catch.
It's a nice picture.
Mhm.
We just don't see pictures like that around anymore.
So there was a water jug that was in a crate from a group of American tourists that visited Promised Land Camp when it was owned by JB and Ruby Moore. So that's going several generations back. And they brought it all the way up from somewhere in the States. Given our space limitations and the fact that it was brought from the States and only used here possibly once, I would recommend not accepting it. Is that acceptable to everyone?
Yeah.
So they, okay, so we don't have this. This is just, you will tell them then that
Yeah.
we don't
This
want.
is all part of.
That the big, okay, the
So
big,
she's been in contact with a shipping company and is looking at shipping this via like a transport truck.
okay,
So if we can get all the things that she's being offered us, if we can get through them tonight, I can let her know. And then That
That's
increases the chances that I'll still be here when they actually arrive, because there's some shipping delays that we might have to.
Okay, good, sorry.
That's
You should've-
okay.
Are you going through each item?
Realize that.
Yes.
Okay, do we have time for that, or are there items in there that you have specifically earmarked to say nay on? Because I looked at all of them and they look good for me, because there's quite a few items there. Oh,
The only concern with, I mean, there's a few from the first batch that I emailed that I was thinking, no, the rest of it were smaller items, and I haven't had time to look too much into that. I said I got the email this
Yeah.
morning. And the only concern really with any of them is space, but again, they're relatively small.
yes. And there were a lot of war artifacts in there, medals and things like that.
Yes,
And I know we have newer war items in there than that, that aren't necessarily from the area, so.
the only thing,
As long
and I
as it's
just
from
wanted
the
to make
area,
sure,
that's
because the Navy uniform, though it belonged to someone who was very much from this area,
Yes,
it was used not in this area. So I was wondering whether that the board would consider that of enough significance to want to accept.
it would to me, because there are other armies that you may not have any providence on in there at all. So with that one is, we do have.
Well, this is specifically Navy rather than Army.
Yeah.
We do, actually, it was interesting because one of our students is currently, she's been looking at some of the artifacts in the church, and John Needham, who's Navy uniform we also have, he was at the same train station as I used to.
Oh, really? Because John still lives here.
John Needham?
Yeah, John lives on South River Road.
His wife used to babysit my kids.
Perfect.
Oh,
So
Maybe that's where he got his experience in fixing radios and things like that, because
yeah, he
John Needham worked for the OPP and for quite a while as a service on our two-way radios.
Well, he worked for Motorola, didn't
That could be.
Yes, he worked for them also.
he? Yeah.
that's
And he's
what-
younger than Keith Moore, much younger.
Well, we were wondering, we're not sure if the uniform belonged to the current John Needham or if it was a relative of his. We didn't have that information.
It'd be hard to find out.
Well,
Nope,
now that I know,
yeah, we'll get all the
I can
information.
look up his phone number in the phone.
Hey, John, does this fit?
Yeah.
No.
So we're keeping the Navy uniform?
I would say
For the
yes.
minute,
Yes.
it's just for the minutes, I want to make sure.
So we're
Editing,
keeping
right.
are we keeping all the items relating to his Navy days?
I think they look great. They were small. They weren't taking up a lot of room.
What about the larger items such as the hammock and the duffel bag?
Does it have his name on it?
Yes.
The hammock does.
The hammock definitely does. The bag that the hammock came in actually had his father's name on it.
Oh,
JB Moore is also of this area.
I think we should take it all. I think
Yeah, we should take some of the ones we think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe take a relook at our war section in there and see what we have providence on, what we don't.
I have checked the provenance on some of them.
Because I believe at one point, I know we have tons and tons of wool coats.
Yeah.
And everybody that had a relative that was in the army and were cleaning up their closets, I think just came and brought all the
Yeah.
wool coats out.
We have a number of them.
Yeah.
I know specifically we've got an RCF uniform from Seymour Barton.
Mhm.
We had John Needham's Navy uniform. And then I believe there was provenance on one of the other coats
Oh,
that's currently in the church.
Okay.
But in terms of the other uniforms, I'm not sure that we have recorded provenance.
We probably don't.
They keep well too because they're wool.
Yeah.
As long as the moss don't get out, then it's
Well,
all.
we had
Yeah.
trouble one year before we put dehumidifiers in there with mold.
Wool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It would be so nice if on Remembrance Day we could do it. Just,
Wouldn't that be lovely? Yeah, if we had the mannequins to put them on. Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. Ideas are always good.
Well, you know.
Well, the East Home used to borrow some of our stuff. and they put a display on in their
Oh,
lobby.
well, that's nice.
Yeah, we
too.
used to lend
Very
it.
nice.
So we just have to keep an eye open for mannequins.
Yeah.
Well-
You occasionally run into the yards.
Well, you do, but where do we store them?
True.
Yeah, that's
Well,
just
that's
it.
always the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes to all the Navy items. So as to the other items, there's a Pittsburgh lamp that was used in the Nipissing General Store when it was owned by Moore and Cheney and before they had electricity installed. So the donor had many years ago polished the lamp. She said it had been originally brass. Now it looks to be more of a silvery metal. However, the glass top still has signs of use, like all the sits from when it was used in the store.
Oh, that's
Um,
That's a good set, so just listen.
The only problem with this particular item is apparently there are some parts that are loose. So they would require some repair. So I'm on the fence about this one. We do have several oil lamps in the collection. None appear to be in the same style that I could find.
And do we have Providence on all the other ones?
No,
Yeah, so that's where,
yeah,
yeah,
that's where.
I would keep this one and
Yeah. 'cause,
one
you
in
know,
and one out. Or
Yeah,
something
because,
like
yeah,
that.
you're not gonna lose any space.
Yeah,
And even if it requires repair, I mean, we're not letting anybody touch them anyway, so the whole idea is they can still look at them, right?
Still display.
yes, I'm not
actually
sure
motivated.
what kind of repair is
Yeah.
required. It
there's
might
a-
not be, required for display, and I won't know until they're shipped.
Okay.
There is a light specialist in Kearney area. If he's still around there, I can talk him into doing some little repairs for us, to check it over and get it
Okay.
back in shape.
Um,
Who was it? Somebody said she knows everybody.
Oh, she does. I'm sure I'm going to be related to her at some point.
Yeah, I'm not doing any more genealogy.
So the next item is a floral basket that was used at JB Moore's funeral. So this one I was recommending not accepting because there's not enough, because it was used only once for one specific purpose and the museum has limited space.
I saw the picture, there were a lot of views that was the style they used back then, so.
So it might be worth accepting because of that. If it was something that was extremely common. Because if we know that, then that has more significance.
Well, they were still using them.
Still use baskets like some
I saw
similar.
them with it, but these ones had the metal inside. And I see them at yard sales all the time.
my personal opinion is,
No, that would be my opinion also. Yeah.
There is a wine trunk, which it looks to be in a similar style to a couple of trunks we have in the hardware store, and there is provenance on both those trunks. So I was recommending not accepting that, especially as it was something that she is more interested in keeping for now.
Okay, that's fine.
That's an easy out on that.
Yeah.
they are nice, but you can only accept so many.
They take up space
A
too.
lot.
Yeah.
That's-
Good thing about the trunks in the hardware store, we were able to put all the extra skates. I don't know if you've looked at any of them yet. There's lots of stuff stored in those. when we cleaned
Still
it up.
trying to get through the church.
Okay.
All right, so there's a few more photographs. So there's a photo of the counselors and possibly a guest, and they appear to be standing in front of the Rossman Historic Plaque Museum. I was thinking yes to that.
These photos, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't turn any of them away.
I
in
would
my
turn
collection.
photos away if they're,
So,
So we want to accept all the photos?
yes.
Well, that's. the only other items in this list were postcards with the Nipissing, the Nipissing wants to sell a shop. So I think you know. Unless it was written on, but she didn't say that it was. There's an advertisement from the Moore Brothers for ties. Looks like it's from the 1950s. Yep. There's a newspaper clipping from the Daily Nugget. There was no photograph of this. In 1955, the article was called "From Timber to Tourism."
For us, are we in there?
That's what I'm assuming. She didn't provide any additional information.
We do have newspaper clippings, so we can, yeah, I would accept it.
A photo of Earl Gerber and an article. Again, there was no photograph of this in the email. She says we could toss it if we can't use it, so we might as well accept.
Yeah.
Ration books from Elaine Bowman and Keith Moore with stamps.
Yeah. That's it, we would want to keep her out.
Yes. Maple leaflets produced for clients like the Moore Brothers by Canada Packers. Again, there's no photograph of this, but it's from June 1953, and we can toss it if we don't want it. Yes.
Yep.
SO advertising booklet. There's a spread on Nipissing.
All store, anything in store items or advertising, those would be nice in the candy store. We've got the shelving in there, we can put anything like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Jane is currently arranging to have whatever things the museum would like to accept shipped from BC. So given the delays of transportation, she's not expecting these to arrive until September at the very earliest. She'll be covering the cost of shipping, but she's also offered to cover the cost of any conservation that needs to be done to the items for display purposes. Or, to for preservation purposes. And it's asking for an estimate. I've let her know that it's not possible for me to provide an estimate until the items have arrived and been assessed. Because I would need to figure out what materials would be needed. And I'm not sure what the board would like to do in terms of what all they would like to include in the estimate, whether they want to include staff work hours as part of the estimate, as some museums will do, or not. In any case, she was offering to send a check for $1,500 to the museum to pay for any conservation needed. If this amount exceeds the cost of the work, the money can be used for conservation work around the museum. And if the amount is not sufficient, Jane is willing to send more funds to complete any conservation work needed on the items in the shipment.
Oh, that's terribly nice. of
Yeah,
her.
that's generous,
Very
very
generous.
generous.
Yeah.
I would think that the archival costs, would they not mostly be just work hours and cataloging and
Yes.
preserving and, yeah, I think too, yeah.
Oh, well, a little thing like the lamp, but really until you actually get the items.
You can't really say
Yeah,
how
yeah.
much it would cost. It's very generous.
Yeah. So should I let her know that the cost is going to include staff hours?
Yes. And I would accept the $1,500. But when, I know we hand over all our funds to the office, that needs to be earmarked for us for that particular purpose. So that it's carried over every year we have it.
On that note, if the items don't arrive until late September, it won't be able to be cataloged until, not all of it anyway, until the following spring. Just some. So in terms of cataloging progress, students are continuing their inventory of the storage room. About 50% of the artifacts in the storage room seem to have accession numbers. And at the rate they're currently going, I'm hoping they're gonna have at least an inventory done by the end of the year. It will still need to get transferred to the access catalog, in terms of updating the locations of the artifacts in the catalog, this inventory and that kind of thing. But hopefully it'll be done by the end of the season. So the loans that are currently housed in the museum, I've had a chance to look through some things. They have not all been taken care of as I had previously understood. That might just be a misunderstanding of what was done previously. So the next step in the catalog process will actually be consolidating the paperwork that is currently in the museum, updating the digital catalog with all the information we have. So so that the artifacts that have no information can confidently be identified and then properly cataloged. And that's so items that have been cataloged but don't have a physical number can get the correct number. Also to establish how much documentation is missing, and to start contacting owners of loaned items with each returning them to their owners, or to have them give the item permanently to the collection, which is what I was understanding the board desired. And then for items that owners are offered to give to the museum, these will go through the board before being accepted permanently into the collection. I don't expect that any contact will be able to be made until next year, based on the amount of time. So I have a few items, or a few things written down for the other items on the agenda. So the only other thing in my report is a few random things. Gazebo lights are up and working. It takes some fiddling.
Oh,
I
did
did
you
have
get
to-
it? What'd you do?
I pressed the power button and the mode button like multiple times.
Yes.
But I did use my phone charger to charge the one panel, and that worked.
Oh, okay.
So for events, what we'll do is we'll charge each panel the day or 2 days before, like for the Heritage Day. I mean, not that it's probably gonna be dark as everybody else.
So the solar lights, for those of you that don't know, they come with the solar panel, but they also have cords that you can charge it with your phone cord. So one of them worked fine, and the other one wasn't exactly, but if that charge worked on it, that's great.
I think it does definitely require, it might require charging more often than not, because I tried to turn them on again today and it didn't work.
I'll have to go back out there at night to see what they look like. But they are quite nice, and but it's quite a thick wire that joins them together, and they have little lights all in them too, so.
And I did get some, I happened to be here late, when it was storm, well, not late, but when it was stormy, so I did actually get a few pictures with the lights on. It wasn't too dark, but they were still visible. So I'll post those on Facebook at some point. The silent options been taking priority on. So I have another question in terms of how the board would like me to proceed with something. So I've had several requests from members of the public over the summer and at the very tail end of last year. And I couldn't find anything specific in the museum documents about this. Should this work be done for free for the public, or should we ask for a donation? Most archives would charge the public for doing this type of research, as it can take a fair amount of staff time, especially when the records aren't up to date. Anyway, whatever the board decides in this regard will be recorded in the operations manual. So far, if I've been able to give an answer to people, I've been doing it without asking for any kind of fee or donation. But I just figured it'd be something that would be nice to know exactly.
So give me an example of what you're asking.
Someone phoned today wondering about the history of a property on Birch Grove Road. And I had the students look through the paper documents we have in the storage room. I will double check anything we have on the computer, and then I'll ask the township office if there are any records that might be a bit help. If we don't find anything, I've also mentioned to her that the land registry office in Perry Sound might
Yeah,
have,
what were they looking for the information for?
it's just to know the history.
The history of it, okay. I don't think we would carry.
No, but
Anything.
you're right about the land registry office in Perry Sound. They
Yeah.
would have
That's where they should go.
everything on that
Yes.
all the way back to when it was
That's
ceded
right,
to
yeah.
the first person.
Yes, and all that first person stuff is now online. The
Was it?
land record and land records are online. They're paid to get through,
Okay,
but,
they're there.
but they are there. It's only come online within the last year, and they keep changing things too, so I'm really not.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, because when I looked up the Perry Sound District Land Registry Office, it didn't have, like, it had a Service Ontario website. It didn't lead me to a place where I thought I could.
Yeah, well,
Search.
there is, and they have a name for it, which I can't, it's something land, but I can't remember exactly what it is.
Would you have the link saved on your computer? Would you be able to-
Oh, I have it saved somewhere, yes.
Okay, if you can find it, can you forward it to me, and then I can forward it to this person?
If I had a memory right now, I'd probably tell you what it is.
I'm just thinking, this is just off the cuff, but if somebody phones and asks specifically about a property,
That's,
I would think you would be referring them to the town
Absolutely,
office.
Paul.
yes.
And if it's something about the history of a family, then yes, I would think that would be under our
Yeah.
umbrella, but a property, a road, anything like that.
Well, I think it
Off
was
limits.
a mixed, because her family has been on this property for a number of generations. So it sounded like they were interested in the original land documents as well as
yeah,
the subsequent history of the
Should come from the
family.
township office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
that's
wasn't just
township
one.
office. We
Because
did the
it's using
same
your
thing
valuable
when,
time,
yeah,
yes.
when we moved into ours, you talked to the town.
yeah, and
You
they're
don't talk
not,
to
they're not
museum.
going to be looking that up for everybody either,
No,
just for the
there's just
fun
no
of it. you know
time,
what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
somebody.
that's why they have developed this program, to get on,
Okay.
to find it.
Well, I think the person who phoned thought we had a larger archival collection than we do.
Yeah, and that's fine, and, you know, if you don't know, you don't know what you don't know, but to me, you would be referring them to the town office.
I would for that, yes.
Yes.
Until I get you that name, you tell them they can check this out on the computer themselves.
Yeah,
For other requests that are specific to family, again, should I just be doing it for free? Should we be asking for a donation? Should we have a charge?
How much time are you spending?
mhm.
That depends on how long it takes me to find something or to not find something.
I would say if you have to spend over an hour, there should be a charge.
Part of the reason why we have to spend over an hour is because our records aren't easy to look through.
But that, it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter
Okay.
to me. It's the amount of time you have to spend. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of arbitrary. That's just what's popped in my
Well,
head.
As a community, we try to get value out of your time.
Yes.
And if you, and that's cataloging and curating the museum. But searching for people's personal family stuff, that doesn't give value to the township.
Yeah,
No.
what we have done, I know previously, is that we have had people come in
Thanks, Chris.
and you
Thank
will pull the books
On land.
on those specific families or whatever you would search through. They can come in, you give them a space, here are the books, they can go through it. Yeah, which I think is fair too, you know,
Yeah, like,
because you
why
have the
would
information, it's
they
like
not,
going to the
really?
library. The
Yeah.
librarian will assist you, but they're not gonna do all the work.
So at the township office, we only can speak to the registered property owner.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can't speak to anybody that owned it 50 years ago,
Oh,
only the
no.
property
Yeah,
registered.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
Yep.
this would probably be your best bet.
Does that say onland.ca?
Yep.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
the one, that's where you find, research it, but you have to know lot concession and
Yes.
township.
And they would have that on their,
If they
tax
own
bill,
it,
if they own it, yes.
Yeah.
And do we have in the one file cabinet all families, right? In
Yes,
the binders, you know that, right, Julian?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, so,
all you,
yes, there
What you-
wasn't a binder on this particular family.
okay.
yeah, just tell them, well, we have a binder here, but we don't do that for you. You have to come in and do it yourself.
Mhm.
Say it nicely.
Yeah.
Be nice about it,
And
but
if you don't have a binder, you don't have a binder, and it's gonna take some time, if it doesn't,
if it's not a 5 or 10-minute thing, don't do it.
no, that's not, I don't,
agree.
we're so far behind in trying to get caught up, as you know, you say you don't have enough hours in the day, so.
Yes,
You're the librarian, you're not the
Yeah.
researcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they want you to do the research, I would think it would have to come to the board and they would have to pay.
Yeah,
Agreed.
because your time would have to be covered something.
um. So, just a comment, someone suggested, or, someone commented that it's hard to tell that the museum is open even with the sandwich board sign and the outdoor sign. Because the office lights are dim, the museum lights are dim. Anyway, they suggested a neon sign that could be placed in the office or store window and turn on and off every day. I'm just passing on a suggestion.
Oh, like an open close
Yeah.
sign, that,
Yeah,
the neon,
Well, the hours are posted.
yeah.
And which sign is out?
Yeah.
but you can't see that driving down the road. The hours that are posted.
Of course you can.
Sure, you can on the big board.
On the big board,
Yeah.
how can you not see it?
Well, as long as you slow down
True.
to
Well,
understand.
well, if you're not stopping and not turning onto Beatty Street, then you're going about 70 kilometers an hour.
Yes,
Some people go more.
no, just 70, that's a speed
To
limit.
me, if you wanted to know the hours, you would slow down.
Or you can come in and
or call
know.
in and check the door knob.
Exactly.
Yeah, you come in, check or whatever.
Hard.
I'm just passing. it
I
on.
know, I know.
I don't
you
think
are.
it needs an open sign. I
Yeah,
think people should just read our sign.
Yeah, I agree, Donna.
Okay. And then if anyone has suggestions at any time about what they would like to see me doing at the museum, you can always come and talk to me personally. You can always phone. I will not be offended if you have any suggestions or wish me to go about a project a different way. I am grateful for any guidance and suggestions from everyone. Just because I've had some suggestions trickle through and
It's a good note to feel about that.
You must have been listening into the dishwater conversations.
Well, that
No, I
before
didn't.
conversations went to me, went to
it sounds
Jillian.
like it went through an extra person first.
Oh,
Some of them I got directly from
yeah,
you.
yeah. I came and listened to our little chinway, our idea session.
Okay, so that's it for my report. The rest of the stuff is stuff that's business arising.
Okay, any questions for Jillian? Chris, any questions for Jillian?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So let's move on to business arising, the Pie Fest wrap up. I'll start with you with the financing part of it, Jillian.
So it was not as well attended as it was in 2019. So from slices, we generated $545. From whole pies, $336. So the total was $881, not counting any sales in the candy store and donations in the museum donation jars. Unfortunately, I don't yet have the expenses as they have not gone through council yet, so I won't have the final number until the next meeting. So I'll bring this up again, the final sort of profit. I apologize for that. Yeah, so we had about 94 visitors to the event, about 29 visited the candy store, and then only a few visited the museum buildings.
I gave probably 5 or 6 tours.
Oh, that's not bad for an afternoon.
Do you have an estimate at all of what the costs were? Just, nothing I'm gonna hold you to, and I will not minute it.
Do you know how many pie crust you bought or how many bags of fruits or?
There was ingredients for 25 pies. So some of the pie crusts were doubled to form a lid, depending on the type of pie that was made. And then some of the ingredients that were not used were bought back. There was an extra bag of sugar. Chris bought that back.
Did you use for fruit, frozen fruit?
We used some frozen, some fresh. So my understanding is that it was under $300. I'm not sure exactly what the amount was. There's also, it's
The rental for the kitchen, how many days did you use it?
just the one night.
That was $50.
There's no rental.
Not charging us? Oh, good.
And then for the other items that were purchased, the tea, the coffee, the lemonade, all that was purchased on the same bill as well as the pies. So the Cool Whip, which wasn't opened, I've been told one of the volunteers from Pie Fest will come by and she'll come by it off us.
Yeah.
The ice cream that was left over will sell in the candy store, along with frozen yogurt. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I didn't have that number for you guys today.
Okay, I just wanted a rough idea. I had no idea.
Well, it's very rough.
Yeah. Well, even that rough, I would say somewhere between $400 and $500.
No, the whole purchase should have been like $3.
Well, yeah, but then you said there was the fall and we eat coffees and all that.
But it was all on one bill.
Oh, was, okay,
Yeah.
okay, so maybe five,
It was all
550, okay.
I don't remember, I seem to remember it being less than that. I'll be able to double check.
Yeah, I have a suggestion for next year, so that if we do this again next year, so hopefully we don't have to go through that. And that is as, who was the gal that was helping us in the kitchen here? Oh, she was really
Heather?
awesome, Heather, yes. In Texas, as she was telling us, if you buy something that is made at home, you have to label it as such. And then there's a definition for home baked goods, okay? And then you take on that liability in purchasing that. So I was wondering if next year you tell everyone that they have to do their water as per public health. And we just advertise, these are home baked pies. And because did you keep a record of all of the water? Did everybody hand that in?
So no, what I understood from the health unit, from the lady I was talking to, was they were required to have the test done. The health unit needed to have the test results. I didn't need to collect the test results.
The person making the pie had to do, get
The
the test
water.
done
Minimum of 2
within
weeks.
2 weeks
Yeah.
Yes.
before
Yeah,
and have the certificate.
okay. So that's just for tracing. So basically you just had to have the name and the
I had-
phone number, the
Yes,
contact.
and to know
I
what
see.
was
Okay.
donated. Yeah,
Okay. So we have all that.
yes.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
okay, I wasn't getting it. I thought you had to collect the actual document, but you didn't.
No, but I also don't yeah,
Because all the health unit then has to do is check
they just
that.
have to check their record.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is only if there is an issue.
Yes, and they
Okay.
say if somebody got sick on lemon pies or something, then she has the name
And
and
you
number
can
of
trace it
everybody
to-
who made a lemon
Yeah,
pie,
yeah.
and that's the health
Okay.
unit gets
And they can
that,
check
they
all those.
chase it down from there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would say, this is just my opinion, that for next year, we should just go ahead as we have previously. People, you have their names, you have their numbers, they know what the criteria are. And we had so many volunteers before, previous to COVID, right?
But
And we
because-
never had an issue.
Because of the new regulations, though, there are a number of donors who would normally have baked 6 or 7 pie, like 4 to 6 pies, and they couldn't manage it with the water test because they bake it in stages and all this kind of stuff. So we did end up baking 25 pies at the community center.
Yeah, but I guess because we don't have the final finances,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to weigh that.
Yes.
Because if we made, I don't know, I thought in my head, it's between $1,000 and $2,000 previously, and we're only making $500 to $600
Yeah.
now, then,
I don't think we made $2,000.
No,
No.
no, the revenue is 881 from the pies, and that's not.
no,
That's
no,
not
I'm saying
profit. We're talking about
previously,
yes,
previously
yes.
we made up to
Yes.
$2,000. And if we're only, by baking 25 pies on our own, we're actually, to me, it sounds like we're losing money.
Yeah.
We're probably better to just sell less pies.
I don't think.
One of
we're
the problems
necessarily
was though that we
losing
sold pies, we never sold pies ever before at the beginning and whole pies. People would come and buy a whole pie instead of spending $30 to feed their kids and themselves pie and take it home with them.
Actually,
I
I would
lost out on a
say,
lot of single piece sales by doing that.
actually, Gladys, I do agree with that philosophy, but what I saw was the pies didn't start moving until about 1:30 in the afternoon, because I had counted the pies on the counter, and I thought, how many are we gonna have left over? And it was well over 20, and I only kept 6 pies. So those didn't go till the end, and that's when we normally would have put them.
But there was people at the beginning coming in and
Yeah, they were.
taking.
Yeah,
pies.
they were, I agree. I
But it was
agree.
sort of
The
a few, and
labeling
some of
of
them were
pies.
people who had, they come with a larger family, and, the cost of buying 6 slices was about $36, whereas if they bought the whole pie, it was
Yeah.
much.
There was quite a few people did that.
Which is fair if you have a large family. and all
I
prices
do
are
agree,
going up.
because, yeah, $36 for when I've got my 3 little kids. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. But I will say most of the pies moved in the last 45 minutes.
And the peach pie that we bought by the time we got home, it was an apple pie.
Oh, really?
it's-
Don't get me wrong, I love that.
Yeah,
But
But that
Bonnie
is,
bought
yeah,
a peach pie, and
yeah.
the
And there's a
neighbors
big
were over for
difference.
dinner.
And
I will say that was something else we noted, is that the pies all have to be labeled when they're dropped off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
especially
we
if
were
the
guessing.
orange.
Well, Bonnie went out and bought some peaches and made peach pie because now she wanted peach pie.
I
But
know.
anyway.
I do have to say, especially because of the health unit regulations, it did take up a fair amount of staff time. Because I spend a lot of time calling and leaving message and calling again and then asking for help for calling. And talking to the health unit. It sounds like the Strawberry Social would be more efficient, because all the cake was done at one time by one group of people in the kitchen here, rather than having to collect everything from volunteers. But also, it was volunteers who baked the pies in the community kitchen, and they may not necessarily be able to volunteer that again next year.
Yeah, I think we have to take a relook at this.
Yeah.
I do feel that the Strawberry Social or Blueberry Social, whatever you want to have, just baking the cakes here. And because all we're looking for are little cakes, we could do that in no time. And we may be able to get the strawberries donated to us.
And we can all come here and do it. It's not like.
No, we don't have to do anything here. We prepare the strawberries at the,
No, for the strawberries, yeah, but the cakes.
The
yeah, the
cakes
cake
all
would
come
be
here.
built here, yeah. You just bring your own pan and your cake mix,
Well, I think the health unit, the reason why they were specifying the water being tested was partially for hand washing, partially for the washing of dishes, so they'd be
I mean,
expecting
you
that.
could wash the
used
strawberries
and-
out with the strawberries here too.
Yeah.
We have certified kitchen in the museum.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, if you bring your own pans from home, they would expect, the health unit would expect you to wash them in the water here rather than. Yeah, that just as a heads up.
Don't look at me like that, Steve, please.
Also, I hate to tell you this, because you did take them home, freeze them, and you were gonna discuss whether or not they could use Heritage Day. They were not on that original health unit application for Heritage Day. I would have to submit an extra one in order to be able to sell them. And they might refuse, because depending on what kind of pie they were, if they've been sitting out for 4 hours, that is the max amount of time that anything that needs to be refrigerated. can't
Yeah,
be-
I know the food pantry. I took the food pantry course
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Just
got
So
my
I can
food
submit the
handling
application if you would like. All I'm saying is that we might not be able to expect approval for it.
certificate.
Looks like I had a pie party.
I was gonna say, so my suggestion is that I bring a pie to every meeting we have from now on. Until the pies are gone.
I'll donate the plates, the forks.
Okay, if I have a seconder, that's what I'll do.
Oh, my
And sorry if you're zooming in, you don't get a piece, Chris.
That's all right.
No, we'll save you one. An incentive for them to-
So I don't have to try and argue that with the health unit.
Nope, nobody's gonna argue with that.
So just some additional information for those of you who first here on Pie Fest, we had a bit of problem with the electrical.
Sorry, I'm going to go back. I know you took the food handling, but I would call the health unit and ask them. Hey, we immediately froze the pies. The pies that we already put a permit in for our pie day, they were frozen immediately. And we used them at our, yeah, it wouldn't hurt to ask first.
Not gonna hurt that.
No,
Yeah,
it won't hurt to
throw a
ask.
question at 'em.
Okay, continue.
Anyway, so we had some trouble with the electrical switches getting tripped on the breaker. I have since talked to Will, and he's told me that if we're plugging things in that need a lot of power, we can plug them in the unit or the outlet that's next to the red counter. So just under the old telephone in the store, and that's 20 amps, and that shouldn't give us any trouble. But we have had a few issues with that. So the Saturday, the students were washing the chairs, and the switch for the hot water pump or the hot water tank tripped. And then the next day, as we had the coffee pots plugged into 3 different outlets, one of the outlets tripped for the east wall, and the water pump switch tripped as well.
What kind of setup is in there, Will?
So your coffee pots, one draws 8.3 amps, the other one draws 9.3 amps, which is 17.6. All the outlets, most of the outlets are only 15 amp. So you're putting out more than you're allowed.
Right.
So what you can do is you can plug one in the one outlet, plug another one in the other one till they're made. Once they're brewed, then you can plug them into one.
Okay.
So the one behind the back door, behind the front door is a 20 amp, because that's where the air conditioner is supposed to be.
Right.
So that one's 20 amp.
Okay.
We could upgrade the rear one to a 20, but we'd have to run a whole new wire from the panel down through the floor and stuff, because it's not rated for 20 amp.
What about the, we're talking about putting the electrical power unit in the gazebo?
Yep, so we can do that.
Yes.
851.84 plus tax.
Well, we budgeted for it, so it should be in the budget. I would like to have that done. And what kind of ampage would that be?
We're doing 20.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And that being
Yeah.
said, we're also putting a switch in the church
Yeah.
to shut the power off,
That's a good idea. Yeah,
because we've had
Yes.
previous
yeah, I know.
episodes where power's been used.
Yeah.
So, throughout the municipality. This way
Not not
too,
with us.
yep,
With the museum? Oh, really?
yeah, all buildings.
Okay, good to know.
If we do one coffee pot at a time
You'll be fine.
Yeah, because that's.
until they're made.
Right.
So that's a simple, that's
Yeah,
something
that's
everybody can remember.
Yeah.
Okay?
Make one pot. and when
Okay,
it's done,
next
make
year we'll
that.
remember.
Or
I've never had that
one
problem.
outside on your table,
Yes.
make one
Yeah.
inside. Once the inside one's done, you can bring it outside.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
yes.
also
Yeah.
had one coffee pot and one water pot, and I had put aside 2 smaller pots, but the larger pot ended up being used. I'm wondering, can we just dispose of the larger pot, because we never need that kind of quantity, and it does draw more power.
I wouldn't dispose it, I just.
Well,
Right,
do you
you
want
don't
it
need it
here?
here?
Well, then it's still accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So just to give you another
No, yeah, just leave it
example,
out of the museum, so
the
it's not gonna
candy-
accidentally.
machine takes 13.2 amps. So the GFIs that are outside, over time, they do wear out.
Yeah.
So that could be, it's 15 amp, but after every pop, you could be dropping some. So that's why it could be.
Wear and tear, yeah.
So we are going to actually probably replace that 15 as well,
Okay,
but by having the 20 in the gazebo and the 20 behind the door, because you can use an extension cord for temporary use.
Yeah. so in the gazebo, when we usually have a band, I think we use power from
From
the
hardware
hardware
store.
store.
Yes.
So will we have enough power with that 20 amp if the band goes in there?
Mhm.
Perfect,
So what we're doing is we have to go out of the church,
yes.
because that's the only power
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
left. And we're gonna go to the post near the church. So it's gonna be pretty well direct through the main door of the gazebo.
Perfect,
It's gonna have a weatherproof box and everything.
yeah.
Just keep in mind, we do have to dig and bury the wire, so the grass may not be
Yeah.
growing by Heritage Day,
Wow,
but we're
that's-
gonna do our best to kind of cut it, so we can kind of put it back in.
Yeah, perfect.
And we'll have to
Sounds
dig up
good.
some of the flowers.
Well, it would be a
around there
whole
and
lot,
then
a small
get
spot, yeah, move them to the
Yeah.
side.
Just,
yeah.
you'll have to let us know where to.
Little judicious with the shovel, and you should do just fine.
So you're gonna do what with the shovel?
Well, I said if you're a little bit judicious with the shovel, you
That's
should
not
be
what I heard,
just
Steve.
fine.
I'm gonna go draw a white line, hope that
No.
somehow it appears to be shoveled.
That's probably not gonna happen. I can't do it with a tiller, it ain't happening.
And what about the candy floss machine? Well, did we order it?
So I actually have 2 lids on order,
Oh, two,
to try to get it here before Heritage Days.
perfect. Brenda, if I'm around, you said you would like to play around with it. I'll do it with, I'll help you with the candy floss machine if I'm here. I will be away for.
There is sugar prepared in the fridge.
The problem is I'm not here for her, it's great.
I'm
Not
not.
We're
Never
not,
mind.
we don't have any plans to use it.
Not
Heritage
till,
Day, it
no,
was for
it was
the
for
night.
September,
I
yes.
should be
Well, for
Oh,
the
really?
movie night on the 27th.
Yeah,
Oh, wow, geez,
Well, it's
that
just a
changes
week.
everything then.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
week later.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you had the lid and someone was willing to.
Yeah,
just
we
switch
will.
to operate
Okay,
it,
good.
we
Right,
can
yeah.
operate it.
I would play with it one day.
Yeah.
I can still play with it, even if we're not gonna be here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like if it's in next week, I'm here all week, then I'm away.
Okay.
And I'm
If you
away
drop
again.
off the samples at the township office, I'm sure.
I
they'll
will,
do,
I
they'll do a taste test for that.
Absolutely.
Let us know, Julian or Bill, when it comes.
That
I know
sounds like a
Jillian
plan.
prefers it with the lid off on windy gales.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
still
at
picking
Halloween
cotton
time,
candy
that
out
might
of
be
tins.
okay.
I said I would clean them.
No, it's okay. It's just, we didn't figure it'd get up into everything.
Did you?
Got up into every crevice and everything down up in.
Oh, those weren't cobwebs?
Oh, yeah.
No, they weren't cobwebs. You could have.
I mean, I don't suggest it.
We could do it for Halloween though.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it would
Yeah,
be
perfect. Bring
End
it
of the
here,
decoration.
fireworks. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would be so sticky.
Something we don't want to keep.
Be like doing maple syrup in your kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
done that.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Okay, so is, any other questions on 5S? Certainly, we have to look at it for next year.
yeah, the information about where things should get plugged in and quantities will be updated in the manual that I've been slowly putting together.
So for our next meeting, Jillian, could you dig out, pre-COVID, our finances for Pie Fest and our finances previous to that to the Strawberry Festival, and how much we made from the last one of each, or on average, if you have a few of them. Because otherwise, you know, we want to know.
Might have to get a couple of numbers too for Heritage Day.
Yeah, because then you
Yeah.
can make a decision, like if you're only making $500 at one, but you're making
Up to 1,000.
1,000 at another,
Yeah.
then I think
Even
it
1,000
doesn't-
at the other.
Yeah,
it's still worthwhile.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, or we should switch. I think for me, that would color my.
Well,
decision.
it's, yeah, we can make a decision based on
yes,
real numbers
Finances.
then.
yeah, good idea. Any other questions on iFest?
Also, thank you to everyone who came and volunteered. We had way more volunteers than I had expected,
That's a good thing.
and a few more pies. Because when people heard that we were having trouble getting pies, a few people baked a few extra.
That's
But they just- so that was lovely.
Okay, let's move on then to Heritage Day.
Okay, so we have the health unit approval for the barbecue.
What did you say we were serving? That, are we doing sausage? No, did we do sausage the last time?
Yes,
We usually do.
yeah,
Oh,
not, do we do hamburgers?
I say,
Hamburger.
Bob
past
will
years
Bob
I've
will
been
come
here, it's
and don't do sausages.
Yeah.
I can talk to the person who approved it and ask if I can change, are we changing hot dogs to sausages? or
No,
what?
we do
Hot
all
dogs and
three. We
sausages.
include the sausages and they tell us we need pre-cooked sausages, which are fine.
Okay,
We buy them that way. Just tell them you want to add the pre-cooked sausage to it. They should be able to do that on their ends. Shouldn't be a big
Where do we
deal.
normally get those at?
Where do we get the, you usually pick up the meat, Mary?
I didn't the last time.
No, because I think, did somebody not donate it? I think what's donated.
it happened to be donated last year. It's not getting donated this year. They are donating to our silent auction instead.
Okay,
Who
The township,
donated last year?
but
Oh, okay.
and they got it from Restool, right?
I
They
believe-
usually get their.
No,
Yeah,
they-
from
similarities.
that,
Yeah, yeah.
that's my understanding. So the township office suggested we do go through Mill Day. Since it's local.
Yeah, prior to that, we had pre-cooked from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
Yes.
And before that, we were getting it.
From February, yeah, we
Yeah.
would pick it up, so.
Yeah.
We need to let Jillian know tonight then, is our last meeting before Heritage Day, what we need to order.
Mhm.
How many burgers, how many hot dogs, how many sausage? Now, I'm a little concerned because we are having the barbecue at a different time of the day this year. So when we usually have more than enough, we order within reason, and if we run out, we run out, the barbecue's over. That's my suggestion.
Is that why the late finishing time?
No, we had originally thought that we were going to work with the rec committee, and from there, they were going to have their movie.
Oh,
But
right.
they couldn't get a movie for that evening. And so we'd already decided on that time, and we wanted to try something different, a different time of the day anyway, so that's how that ended up happening. So as it turns out, the rec committee will have theirs following weekend. So I'm trying to remember what we've had in the past.
I think it was usually food for 50.
Yes, and we usually give the volunteers, they can have their choice of one hot dog, burger, or sausage. So if you're, and the fire department, are you set up for that, Will? You've already put that request in?
Yep.
Okay, we just have to know what time we want them there for.
4 to 7. That's what
That's how the barbecue, okay. So if it's food for 50. I would say then just 24 wieners, right? 24 hot dogs.
And while we're at it, can we also set a price for each item?
Yeah, yes, yeah. that's gonna be difficult, because we don't know what the price of the meat is going to be yet. So once we get that, we can perhaps, we can give an estimate right now tonight of what we think we should charge, and then we'll compare it to the price of the meat. How does that sound? Okay, and am I okay to make the executive decision to go higher if needed? Steve and I will confer on that.
Higher cost or higher numbers?
Higher cost,
Higher numbers too,
yes, okay,
because we don't know right now how many we had last year.
that's right, yeah,
Yeah,
so we
we
want
need
to
to
figure
figure-
this to last year too, so I'm thinking, because the hot dogs still cost us a lot, I'm thinking 24 burgers and 24 sausage, does that sound right?
So 24,
That's-
24, 24.
Yeah,
A lot more than 50 pieces.
yeah, well, what it is the hot dogs. I know, and they don't, because they cost so little. Or do you just want to do 12 hot dogs? We run out.
I think if there's sausages, I mean, they're very similar to hot dogs.
Oh, no, people either want a hot dog or a
All
sausage.
different
No,
people.
some people will take a sausage above a hot dog and some, but not everyone will take a hot dog above a sausage, is all I'm saying.
Then let's just do 12 hot dogs. Now,
Think
once you
that's
give me.
enough?
Yeah, it doesn't sound
No,
like
it
That
that.
doesn't sound
I think-
very-
Yeah, I
Because
know.
Sorry.
kids all have hot dogs.
Your numbers are, in my opinion, way too low.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but we have to compare what we had last year. We usually have too
But you
much.
never done it a night before.
No, that's what
So
I
you're
mean.
probably gonna be trying to draw the supper crowd in.
Yes, that's
No,
exactly what we're
that
trying to try.
too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, so
We
you
usually go for 100.
serve 100?
We expect to have 100.
Well,
Now-
this serves 72.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean,
I think serving 72 is a safe number.
yeah, they're gonna get something.
Yeah.
Remember, probably 12 to 15 of those will be volunteer and firemen that we're feeding too. So
Mhm.
now you're looking at 60.
But you drop.
Okay, so the volunteers are included in that number?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay, good.
But you
Yeah.
drop that number from 100 items back to 72.
Yeah. You know how much meat we usually have left over. We buy it at cost. The board members or volunteers are allowed to buy it back at cost, which we usually do, and there's usually quite a bit left over. If you want it, I mean, we can increase it. You could increase it to 30 and 30, 30, 30 and 24.
Oh, we got the funds last year, didn't we? I just dawned on me. Yeah,
Did you get the funds donated or?
no, I donated them.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
you
I
did get
remember that.
donated.
I remember this.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's
Okay.
donated.
I'm thinking 30 sausage, 30 burgers, and 24 hot dogs until Jillian gives me the numbers. And then Steve and I will discuss.
What did you say?
30 burgers, 30 sausage, 24 hot dogs. So that would, are you going to not pay for the buns, but can you pick them up, or who can pick the buns up?
I could,
Will is going to work on the buns for us. He's just
Okay.
offered to. Thank you, Will. I'll let you know how
All right.
many we need, Will. Is that okay?
I think next week, I'm going to Sudbury. Did people prefer Costco hot dogs?
Sure, if you're going there, why not
Oh,
pick
that'd
them
be
up?
nice.
Yeah.
nice big ones.
Yeah, pick those up.
I prefer those. Anyway.
Yeah.
Good.
So
That will put your hot dog sausage people even more on the fence.
the health unit informed me that the meat needs to be picked up the day of or the day before the.
Okay, so that's it.
This is what they told me.
Most definitely, that's what we
Yeah,
do.
that's
Sure.
what we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do. We will.
Yeah, we will do that. Yeah.
We do that for every event.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're driving, unless you're driving to Sudbury the day before the event.
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
Costco.
That's, okay.
The
That's
first,
when I'll
the
go
last
then.
couple days are always a rush for any event. you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Steve, could you also pick up the condiments? Like, I think they usually have those mustard
Oh,
grills.
the 3-packs?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
squeeze bottles, they also specified they should be squeeze bottles or
Yes.
individual packages.
yeah, no, we will
They're
be
all
there.
squeeze bottles.
Yeah,
It's
they're all
a- It's a
Set of three.
Yeah.
pack, yeah.
Will one of each be enough? Or do we need to?
We had leftovers last year. I
Yeah,
remember
and
that.
yeah, 2 packs.
Yeah, I bought 2 packs and we did not need them.
Was that,
We're gonna be doing something with all those hot dogs and stuff we have left over, the rec committee,
Okay,
so the rec committee could use the leftover mustard and stuff.
okay, so get 2 packs.
Okay, so I'm getting 24 hot dogs and 2 packs of,
Condiments, yes. I think we usually bring an onion in too, or can we chop up an onion? I think so, right?
I think there's usually onion there.
last year?
Yeah, we
I'm only saying that because I know if I eat anything, I already eat all of it.
and we bring in sliced cheese, am I correct?
Yes, sliced
yes.
cheese is correct.
So,
I'm
I'll
sorry,
bring some
the
onions if
onion
that's what you
wasn't
want.
on the health unit application, so I will have to.
we just talked about it. I never put onion on it before. I just put condiments.
I don't even put condiments.
Yeah, I think you're getting a little picky here.
I was
I'm not
looking,
the one who's getting picky. It's my name on it. I don't want to do anything.
Maybe it
No.
should be my name on it. Okay.
Look at, compared to what they got in England now,
This is not, I'm not trying to get picky.
no, in England, it got so bad that all the churches, everything just quit doing
yeah,
things like that
Everything.
because they can't do it.
And that's what,
Reasonable.
that's what, it's almost like that's what they're trying to.
Oh,
push.
sure.
yeah, they're trying to shut down volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Maybe, well, we would need some cheese slices too. Probably a
Probably
package of
when
30.
Steve's at Costco, he probably should.
Yeah,
cheese
Steve, a
slices.
package of those
They'd probably be
30 cheese slices.
more reasonable.
What do you need for onions?
We usually get one big sweet onion and slice it up. Yeah. Oh, and sauerkraut. We need a bottle of sauerkraut, Steve, if you're there anyway. Sauerkraut for the sausage. Michael, he's going to Costco.
Hey, I got a Costco list.
Oh, no, actually, I'm going that way that weekend, so I don't need a list.
So one big bottle of sauerkraut. You like that on your sausage? Yes.
1 jar sauerkraut.
Yes, please, and thank you. Okay. Is there anything else we need for the burger, sausage, or hot dogs?
No,
Mustard, relish, ketchup, sauerkraut, onion. You're getting the onion, Mary?
Yeah.
And what else was there?
That's it, right?
Yes, and cheese slices.
From grocery store.
oh,
Probably.
yeah,
Okay.
130 pack of cheese slices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grocery store.
Well, that's where it'll come from.
Okay.
Oh, no, I wasn't.
I don't know.
No, I live near a grocery store. I'll just pass by a grocery store.
And it will be on ice the day of and sliced the day of. Within half an hour of us actually barbecue. So. And it will be in a nice cold bowl of ice. It won't just be sitting out there in the heat.
Well, sometimes I think the fire department often brings because I think when I was in 2019, you guys brought the container for the onion. Is that just coming from the community center, like the metal cans that we have here?
yeah, I'm pretty sure I come just grab them from here.
Perfect.
Yeah, whatever you need here, just grab it.
Okay,
And then I just bring it back, throw it in the dishwasher.
perfect.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. So,
Mary.
Yeah, gossip's not near as good that way.
so Steve is taking care of hot dogs, condiments, sauerkraut, cheese. Will is going to take care of the funds for us. I will let him know how many we need. Are you in Restoral at all to order that meat up from Mill Bay and get a price for us?
Yeah, I can call that.
Okay,
Okay, so you're gonna get an estimate.
on the 30 burgers and the 30 sausage. And if you'll give us a deal, please and thank you.
I'm just writing down the grocery list and sending it to my phone because that's the one I'll have with me.
Okay. And you'll calculate the cold drinks, see if we have enough. People also, believe it or not, like coffee and tea on that day.
I don't think we didn't do that last year. We want to do that this year.
Do what?
Coffee and tea.
Oh, we didn't do it last year?
We did, well, because of COVID, we didn't do as many.
That's
things.
right, and we
That's
said,
true.
we
And I
said we
got
don't
told
really
to-
get rid of a lot of coffee or tea
What I was
because
gonna
it's warm.
suggest is if you're going to make coffee and or tea, especially the coffee, just do it in a small pot,
Yeah,
as opposed to,
No, that big pot, that's coming here, we'll only have small pots.
we can see what the weather's like that day, if it's smoking hot out.
You don't need coffee.
No, you don't need coffee or tea.
Okay, so should we purchase milk and or cream before the event? Just in case?
No, let's watch the weather for the 3 days before and see what they're calling for. And I think that was our decision last year. We said it's too warm to be serving coffee and tea. It's one thing with
Yeah.
pie, people like it, but with the barbecue, I think we should decide right now just not to serve it.
Yeah, we didn't last year.
No,
okay.
I would say no coffee, no tea.
Make sure that some of that pop is water, right?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so, we have water. We also normally carry, we've got iced tea, we've got ginger ale, we've got fizzy diet lemonade. And the Pop Shop pop. The only thing we probably need to purchase a case of would be Pepsi or Coke. We have, a good supply of the rest.
How much water do we have over there?
At least one case.
At least one case, okay, that's good, all right.
If it gets nearer to the day, like within a week, I can get an
Okay.
extra case or ask someone. to
If you're getting the onion, Mary, could you pick up a case of pop too?
Pop?
Yeah, Coke or Pepsi, what, just
Oh.
12 pack?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a 12 pack. Okay, so- And we don't normally give the pop shop pop with the barbecue because they cost so much. so-
Oh, we're right. No,
Yeah.
sorry.
All right, so we would have at least, what, 75, 80 drinks in there between water and everything else?
I would think so.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay.
So the only other thing we would need for the day would be ice for the cooler. Does the museum need to arrange ice for the barbecue meat as well, Will, or is the fire department gonna arrange ice for your, because you normally bring your own coolers, right? From the fire department? Sure, the museum board should get the ice, or sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Should I not have asked? No.
But could we put it in your coolers if we don't have enough?
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
I was running the house anyway. but it was-
Pick up the ice that morning at the place.
Make sure ahead of time, though, if you're gonna
Yeah, let them
want more
know.
than normal, or
Yeah,
they
let
may
them know.
remove
Yes.
something.
I used to make it for us, but I don't have any room in my freezer. It's full to capacity. I used to make it in margarine containers, big blocks.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I just
I
don't
don't
have
have
time. Yeah. Yeah. Well, from filling everything up from COVID, believe it or not, I'm still working on stuff in the freezer. Because I didn't want to go to the grocery store.
Okay, so did you hear anything from Jeff Bernie today?
Did he not contact you? Said he was coming by the museum today.
I don't know, he might just be really busy. I've talked to him several times. I've left one message. He's kept saying he'd stop by within the next week for almost a month, but I haven't heard from him at all in about 2 weeks.
Oh, that's really too bad, because I spoke to him, when did I see you, on Sunday? Yes.
I called him and left a message on Saturday, and I think we spoke either Saturday or Sunday. You contacted him. and he
I
said you
contacted him
got
through Facebook and he said, he said, yeah, I'll drop in next week. And I said, oh, we're only open Monday to Wednesday to Sunday. He says, I'll tell her I'll see her Wednesday.
What is his last name?
Fournier.
Fournier, yeah.
Fournier.
That's who, Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Go on Facebook.
Well, that's where I contacted him. And I contacted him private messenger. So. Now, he did say he was out of town. Maybe he didn't get back yet. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he's doing something with the hydro stuff.
Yeah, you know what? I will send him another message.
If you need any of those hydro folders with the history of the three Do you know what I'm talking about?
The highway station on South River, the trifold.
Yes,
We have a lot of those, like the one brochure, but I don't know how much other information or other photos we
yeah, because
have.
I know that at the time we did this before, and that was here, we got a pile of them at the Clark House. And I see, I still have a pile of them at my house.
It's out in these two.
That's handy.
Okay, so if we can't get through to Jeff, what is our theme for Heritage Day?
So just as a side note, the students have already been working on temporary exhibits. So Jeffrey's been doing one on domestic cookery that's set up in the hardware store. All we have to do is add text. And Erie's been working on one on John Needham, as we have a lot of his Navy uniform and accessories. So there will be exhibits, but there's no theme. That's what I'm looking for. Well, I was sort of, it all kind of falls under fire and water.
Yeah, this is early for Jeff to get organized for that. Yes.
Oh, no, we've been talking since May.
Eh?
We've been talking
But
since
he
May.
still hasn't done anything about it. I said, this is early for him to be organized.
Okay.
But he thinks he'll still.
So you're saying don't panic yet?
I don't think it's time panic, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, we have to.
Yeah,
Sure,
We're
you
gonna
know,
rely on
It's still
it.
3 weeks down the road.
Yes, but in terms of the advertising,
Yes,
we had a verbal agreement. We have been advertising that particular exhibit.
Did he request the banner or is that his idea?
When we discussed it, I had mentioned that there was no way to do a PowerPoint presentation at the museum easily. And so we discussed, he had suggested one of those poster boards. Given that the hydro, the one item that I know we definitely have from the hydro station is an outdoor artifact, I suggested an outdoor banner a couple of meetings previous. So that would be something that the museum could have printed at our expense, and we would be able to keep the banner for future exhibits. So it could go up every year. It's printed on an outdoor banner.
So this isn't done? Oh, I thought this was like done.
Yes, I guess
Because
well.
we had.
Sorry, to
Yeah.
interrupt your meeting again, but why couldn't you do a PowerPoint? Just do it on TV.
Well, I mean, we could, but I was concerned that because people flow in and out in Heritage Day, like it would be better if he had something set up so anyone can drop in at any time. And it wouldn't be sort of like interrupting like in the middle of a spiel. Just because when we've had people come through the museum on Heritage Day, they sort of flow in and out. And it seems to work best if, like,
He just basically answers their questions for it.
yeah, that there's something visual for people to see, rather than like a long talking spiel. If it is easier for Jeff to do a PowerPoint presentation, we could organize that in the church. But that also means that if people are wanting to take a tour of the church.
What if you just told them to like have a PowerPoint, but 5 minutes max, like short and sweet, right? And then if people walk in, he'll be done soon. They can join in and listen, and then a tour. Because a PowerPoint, if you have it too long,
And you always pick them up.
Yeah.
people start dozing off, they lose interest. A 5 minute, people don't have much of an attention span past, even 5 minutes is pushing it, to be quite honest.
But also if he's outside, he'll be competing with the band.
No, I mean in the church.
Yeah.
You do this in the church.
Yeah.
You have the TV set up, as Will said. He has a quick, snippy, snappy, get cut to the chase PowerPoint.
What time does the band start?
4 p.m.
What time did we ask Jeff to be there?
Well, I had mentioned that the event is running from 2 to 7, and we were going to discuss what time we might.
So he could come between 2 and 4, and he's not
Yeah.
meeting with the band.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need, almost an agenda of what's gonna happen at what time.
I thought we had decided that. No?
I don't think we
We
did.
have kind of the barbecue and the band are 4 to 7 p.m. all the other activities, because I had thought we were going to do a banner and he was gonna answer questions, it didn't really matter at what time. Like, it didn't have to be specifically itinerary. And then there's new exhibits the students are putting on, there's some activities, like we have scavenger hunts and mystery object activities we've had sort of most of the summer. And that can be done at any time. And the fire department, we have volunteers and they can be there by 2 as well, so they can.
So, but we're starting the barbecue at 4, right? Okay, so I would go Heritage Day 2 to 7 p.m. And then I would say 2 to 4 special exhibits. Does that sound right? Special exhibits. And what time do you want the scavenger hunt to start at?
People can drop in at any time. It's just information that's around the museum.
Okay, so 2 to 4 special exhibits and scavenger hunt. And then 4 to 7 barbecue and entertainment by, put the band down. That should be put on the flyer, I think. That gives people kind of a time frame. Some may just want to come to the barbecue and the band. Families may want to come to the exhibits and the scavenger hunt. Does that make sense?
So 4 to 7.
Yeah, 4 to 7 is barbecue and entertainment. And make sure that the name of the band is on the poster. So the whole event runs from 2 to 7, and then underneath, just break it down to those first 2 hours. And then we don't really have to put him on there, I suppose. If he comes, that's great. And if he doesn't,
That's good wording.
yeah,
Well, like Mary says, it's not bad.
yeah. Okay. I'll let you, before I contact him again, I'll let you try him every day. Jillian, leave messages. Hey Jeff, I thought you were coming Wednesday. Hey Jeff, it's Thursday now. You didn't come yesterday. Oh, I'm so busy this week. I barely have a spare moment. Oh, I'm lucky I got out tonight from my ball and chain. Okay, any more talk about Heritage Day?
Yes.
Okay,
I can add the information requested to the poster. This was the draft that I had made.
give another draft there so I can, I don't have it in front of me. I'll give it.
I have one, this was updated, so if you want to pass that around.
Is this
Okay.
is this it?
I updated it because someone pointed out there was no date on it, which I apologize, and it was posted, and that's because I miscommunicated with the office, so again, I apologize for that.
So again, you've got barbecue, you've only got hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yes, well, at the time I didn't know there was
Yeah,
sausages, so I
okay.
can
So
add that.
sausages.
So write any changes you would like made, please, on the poster. I
Okay.
will update it tomorrow morning and it will be posted as soon as possible.
Oh, and if we're going to do this on here, the 2 to 7, 2 to 4 special exhibits and that, you want to write silent auction 2 to 7.
Yes,
Yeah, 2 to 7. Silent auction runs all day, ends at 7.
There's an auction now open and it's at 7 p.m.
Silent auction ends 7 p.m. August the 12th, Heritage Day.
Mhm.
So I think, do we want to put the exhibit by Jeff Fergie, or do we just want to put special exhibits up there? Or do we want to leave them and send them a poster? I'll send them the poster through Messenger. How does that sound? When you update this poster, you send it to me, okay? Let's ship it to them. But the poster just, okay, good
She's
one.
gonna
All right,
partner.
all right.
I'm not going to print it until you let me know what he said.
Well, if he doesn't come, he doesn't come, right? I mean,
Well, I think special exhibits is a very good word.
okay.
I
well,
think if we want to, okay, the thing is the township has other posters that are going to go out Thursday or Friday, and they have offered very kindly that if we have our posters ready, they will help distribute them. Okay, which means that they would get distributed without board members having to come to the museum and pick them up.
Okay. Okay, so just special exhibits then. Okay,
So take Jeff Bernier right off. of that.
yeah. It's supposed to
And
look
if he confirms, then we can just put that on Facebook.
yes, yeah, exactly.
You know.
One of our special exhibits will be, and we'll just share that out. Share it
Yeah.
out, yeah.
Fine.
I kind of like the idea of setting in this one though, but that's.
Okay, so we're gonna suggest in Sunny's banner, does a 5-minute presentation that, yeah, outside, if the weather's nice, or in the church if the weather's not nice from 2 to 7. Just what was,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's gonna do a presentation outside, like
Or-
with a PowerPoint or no PowerPoint?
No, I'd do it in the church.
Yeah, you can't do a TV outside. You
Yeah.
won't be able to see it
Yeah.
very well.
And if you want, you could run the
It's a
tours
Sunday
at
meeting.
special, maybe every hour on the hour.
I think we've done that before.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
we didn't
that's
have
rather
tours
than have,
on demand. It
No.
was tours like every
That-
hour, every half hour.
so I would put on here tours on the hour, tours on the hour, yeah. And then close up the buildings. Once you've done a tour, they're there for 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. The tour is done, you come back at 3. That way you don't have people sitting in there all day. You don't need as many volunteers. And then Jeff could give his PowerPoint at each tour. How does that sound? You're setting us up with the TV, Will?
Yep, if you want.
Well, thank you.
We have one for fire prevention, so it's.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well, I think we had discussed in the past about putting a small TV in there with our CD that we had
Yeah,
when,
yeah.
when Joe was curator. Remember when
That is
The
a
one
cute
of Joe
CD.
or
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
one of, okay.
where he did
Promise.
interviews of different, I
Yeah.
think he interviewed Promised Land and we have a CD there. And we talked about having that as soon as you walk into the church and they could start with that on your tour.
Yeah, it's actually cute.
Yeah,
It's quite cute.
so something
So
for the
good.
budget for next year, perhaps a small, they're so cheap now. Just a small little TV with a built-in, if they sell them like that, I don't know.
I don't
I
even
think
think
at
we
one
sell
point
them
we
like
have
that
Probably
because
not.
those little Blu-ray or
Yeah,
CDs, they're.
I think we have a DVD player.
they're
I'm not sure
DVD.
if it works, but I
yeah,
think
Yeah, there is one in there, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works.
yeah,
Try it before we budget for a new one.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
They're like $30.
Yeah, it's cheap.
um,
Yeah, I think we'd originally talked about having some kind of like little interactive thing where you push the button.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't know how much that would cost.
given things I've noticed in other museums, anything technological and interactive tends to have technical issues. And
Oh.
Right.
If they're left on their own, yeah, that's the problem, because kids are in there pushing the button. I've seen it happen. But you would introduce them, and you'd be pushing the button with the tour. They wouldn't have access to it. That's the way you'd have to do it, I would think, yeah. Okay, so we'll get back to this then. So everything looks good. Jillian's gonna put a little, like a little time schedule on here. We're gonna put up here, instead of exhibit by Jeff, we're going to have special exhibits. You've already got scavenger hunt on the other side. British Burn, you're going to add sausages. Is there anything else that she needs to add?
You've got way too much on that poster now. If you're
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
hang that up in the public, they're gonna have to get their right up close to it to read it.
So Liz, you want to pass it around and people can cross out things that they don't want on it?
There you go. I know what you mean, Mary. It's a lot.
It's way too much because,
People aren't gonna take time to read it.
no. You need big letters to say
Yeah.
what it is, where it is, and when it is. And just barbecue, like sort of in order
Yeah,
of what's going on.
Yeah, I do agree with Mary. It's promotion 101 is that it's short, sweet. People do not, it's just like their attention span for a PowerPoint. Same with poster, short, sweet, simple. And that's it,
So
yeah.
up on
You
the
can read it
top.
driving by at 60 miles an hour without losing control.
No, when you're carrying your groceries out of Oshels.
Oh,
and
you
there's-
know, you have a minute, you have a second to
You
look.
just take a look and
There-
kind of
there's-
stay on the board and see what's
There's
changed.
65 white pieces of paper with black writing on.
Yeah,
Some are hand printed, you know? So you make that bright colored so it shows up, and you make big letters, basic facts of what's going on. And, you know,
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I like your logo and everything
Yes.
from what I can see.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
lovely, but I
It is
learned
busy.
through experience in health promotion. Short, sweet. Otherwise, nobody looks at it or reads it because it's just too, they won't take it in.
okay.
Yeah.
So on here, we should just have Nipissing Township Museum Heritage Day, big letters. Saturday, August 20th, 2 to 7. She's got the address on the bottom, which is great. And
But-
then,
but you should have like what we're going to
Yeah.
have here, like there's the barbecue, name the things, but
Yeah.
not the gritty details of
yeah,
it.
yeah. So,
So here's an example of 2 flyers that we did. Just to give you.
yeah, that's good. They're pretty busy too. We'll like that.
That's
So
the one I
this
can
would be
see.
fine for Facebook,
Yes, oh,
but
yes.
not for distribution.
Anything that you're going to
Yeah.
bring up on your screen and,
Something that catches your attention right away, and then you promote it more.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah,
for Facebook,
yeah, I'm-
yeah.
yeah, I'm just talking about the ones when you're walking down there or
Yeah.
walking
The
to
ones
the
for the
post
stores
office.
are on
Spaghetti
the,
dinner
on
was-
the bulletin
Oh,
board.
wait a minute. I'm on that one, aren't I?
Yeah, you wanna pass that around?
Yeah.
Brenda, if you wanna.
Yeah, no, I would just keep it to just the basics, the time,
Yeah,
where
Bonnie
it
and I
is,
are here.
the date.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
so,
Because.
Yeah. so that one for Facebook.
Yeah, I have a
And-
real hard.
like-
And it is that you
Yeah,
want
Bonnie
to
and
make it
I
look
will
so
be-
nice and
No,
everything.
no,
but
it's okay, I'm not offended.
Plain and simple is the
Yeah.
easiest.
Yeah.
Like Mary said,
Live-
blind people.
Live music,
Literacy.
food available, or barbecue, and the,
Silent auction,
yeah,
special exhibits.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just one above the other. So it's
Yeah, I've
easy.
seen that on
I've
the,
seen those ones.
yeah, I've seen them. And they're nice,
Actually,
they're
I've
nice
seen
for
them.
the,
And if you want to break it down, like the barbecue is from whatever it is, it's different than this one, you know.
Right.
okay, so 2 flyers we're looking at, one for
They're
Facebook,
busy, but to the point.
one for,
Just throw it.
This, yeah, this is
flyers
also,
instead of, they want this with all the info
Getting
you
much
have
better.
is great for
I know,
Facebook.
well,
Because
see,
people
that
can
says it all.
actually read it,
Pictures
right?
says
They
1,000
just
words,
have to read
right?
it.
Yeah.
But you're talking, am I correct? Is that what we're talking?
yeah, I'm just talking about the ones when you're
You
walking,
take
No,
out,
it's not
yeah,
Bonnie's
yeah.
spaghetti sauce.
like walking down and there's
So
competition.
the ones that we're putting up on bulletin boards and in
Yes.
offices and stores, we want just plain Jane.
And on colored paper.
But that's fine for,
Yeah, that's
For
okay.
Facebook.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect
yeah.
for Facebook.
I already read
So you
that.
prefer black and white on colored paper? That's what I'm.
Black and white and color.
Black
For,
on color.
For a post.
yeah.
For a
Yeah.
post-
Yeah,
Well, it's the hardest one to read if you use it for lettering.
No,
Literacy level grade A.
Some kind of colored paper
Some
that
kind of
shows
words
up
in my
against the sea of white. And just plain black.
Yeah.
Printing is good.
Okay.
So bright.
Send one to every board member so they can give you their input.
So if I do send it to every board member, could we have any suggestions need to be sent to me via email or phoned in by the end of Thursday so that?
Yes.
Yeah. so it'll be
Jillian
by
puts them out in the
Thursday.
morning. If you don't hear from people by Thursday, do it. You'll definitely hear from me. And Steve.
Maybe me.
Yeah, definitely Brenda and Mary will let me know. Oh, I'm not forgetting about you, Chris.
I'm still here, no worries.
Okay.
Okay,
Look went around the room there, Chris, when you didn't answer promptly.
yeah. So Jillian will send out the flyers tomorrow, one for Facebook, one for bulletin boards. Okay,
You do have a copy of the flyer that
No, I haven't, I didn't email it, so can you maybe hold it up to the camera? I mean, I'll email it tomorrow.
This
It's
one?
fine. I trust you all.
Okay.
All right,
Stand up there in front of the camera up there.
okay. Any more talk about Heritage Day? Have we got everything? hashed out?
Volunteers.
Oh,
Volunteers, okay.
yeah, well,
Um,
under volunteers, we have to be ready when, at 2 o'clock, we have to be ready to go.
Yes,
Everything
So-
has to be set up. That has to be set up.
that's right, yeah.
So be there.
So we're not making coffee or tea or anything, but you set up the condiment tables, the tickets, the pay tables, cold drinks in the coolers outside. is what
That's
we
right,
usually do.
yes.
The hand washing station, that all needs to be up and ready.
So half hour before?
Yeah, yeah.
So, Will, you guys normally bring, you
1:30?
guys have a hand washing station.
Well, the
for
barbecue
fire
isn't gonna start
department.
till 4. So I don't know if you want to start bringing that stuff out right away.
No, I mean, you can do that, you got
Yeah.
time, but
You can set up your tables and stuff, but don't put the
yeah,
stuff
it's
on.
just so that when anybody gets there at 2 o'clock, what we advertise is on at 2 o'clock should
Yeah.
be.
Oh, yeah,
Ready.
it's special exhibits.
We
and-
shouldn't be all just rolling in, getting stuff out of our cars.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to put up the tables and.
No, they,
So
no,
be there
no,
at
that's
1:30.
better, yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna talk to the township office, see if we can, if the weather's okay, if we can put the tent up and leave it overnight, the one night. I know that the reason for the pop-up tents was the idea that they'd be able to be set up morning of, but, given that the event is
Yeah, well,
going
if it doesn't
later.
start till 2.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah, we can come in.
As long as there are volunteers who are gonna come in.
You can put it up
does
the night
require at least-
before, you just have to make sure
people.
it's staked down,
Okay,
Yeah.
and it'll be fine for an
As long as there's no wind.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you think we will have the electricity in the gazebo by then? Okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna have, so here's my vision, is that the band will be in the gazebo. So that will be reserved for the band. And, tables will face the back of the museum or the side, like kind of parallel with, Lee Street. Tents will go down that way for a change.
sorry, they're going which direction?
So if we put the band inside the gazebo.
Yep.
We would put, and then you're
Oh.
looking parallel in the back of the museum, side door here, the museum back door. The gazebo's here, the tents would go this way.
East, west.
Yes,
Behind the church.
yes. Between the church and the office, that's where they're going. That makes sense?
So where are you going to, what these tents are for?
That's for the band, okay, anybody that's coming to watch the band, or they
Okay,
want
that's okay.
if they want to sit under there and eat, and then the barbecue could be, where we've had it right by the ramp there.
It's usually back door.
The fire department suggested that when they were right next to the ramp, they were getting a lot of people coming to the barbecue first instead of the tent, or the tickets booth. Should we have the tickets booth?
Yeah, you can have,
Closer to Beatty Street?
no, the ticket booth should be right by the ramp, that's where they should have it. And then you'd be under a small tent there, so you'd have the,
Do we have a small tent?
yeah, we have two 10 by 10s, right, Will? We have two 10 by 10 small
The
tents.
fire department does, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
for sure.
So we have one there, and then and then kind of go around the corner, and the barbecue's right there.
I think that's sort of the royal we, isn't it?
Yeah,
We have tents, yes. Fire department has them.
like whatever,
It's the royal
however
way.
the flow goes, because they want to buy their tickets, you give them their cold drink, and then they go and get their food, right? And then right beside the food. are the-
So the only reason I say the fire department is because if something goes sour and we need them, you won't have them.
Okay,
That's the only reason I say fire department, so it's subject to change without
No.
notice.
no, I
That's
just,
the only reason I say it that
I
way.
just thought it was fine.
Well,
Nice
that
the way
happens when
we
we move into the
assumed
porch.
everything, it's we haven't.
Yeah, that's the only reason I say it, make sure I say fire department, because if something goes sideways,
Yes, okay.
some things might not be there.
Yeah,
We need a command post somewhere else.
Yeah,
On the same note, can we get an outdoor permanent banner that says food tickets and drinks so that we can hang it on the tent or on the gazebo or wherever we're having beverages and selling food tickets so that people know where to go instead of making temporary signs that don't draw as much attention, because there's certainly something that will get reused year after year. And it probably wouldn't cost too much if it was just a small outdoor banner. There's not a lot of text on it, but it would still draw more attention than a poster board.
What do you need? One for the tickets and one for the,
If you just say food tickets and cold drinks, then we can use it for pie or strawberry social or barbecue or anything. Because normally when we do food, it usually comes with some kind of drink. If we're unspecific about what the food and drinks are, we can reuse it.
The year when we did the Pie Fest with in 2019, because the ticket seller and the drinks were right beside at the entrance, it wasn't a big problem because they came there first. But this time, well, nobody knew where to go.
Why is that?
Because
Because it was in the gazebo.
they had to go to the gazebo and they didn't know whether they had to come inside and get their tickets or whether they had to go to the gazebo or whether just went and sat. They didn't know what to do.
Oh, okay, that
There was
was,
lots of people that thought and didn't know.
Yeah, so we put our ticket booth very close to the barbecue.
well, we've always put it right by the ramp there.
Yeah, we only had one tent and it was out front. Yeah, also Nora, who had done a lot of work for it, requested that they be the drinks. And I figured if the tickets are next to the drinks, because that was when I thought we were gonna have not as many volunteers. And that
Oh,
way
that's
we
when
could
you had
support
coffee
each
and tea, right? Yes. Yeah, we can look at that for down the road, but I think for right now, we're fine. People will know where to go.
so where are the drinks going to be with the?
Right, where we've always had it. We'll put we can do everything in behind if you want, or we can do it on the side by the ramp.
It's got to be visible so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Like where they come in and it's visible makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they
So sorry, the
Yeah.
cold drinks, the tickets or the barbecue?
Usually when they get their tickets, you give them their cold drink, whatever they want right there. That's how we do it, right?
Yeah, at the end of the museum.
Yeah.
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 But this time, the music is going to be way over the other end.
Doesn't matter.
So where are they going to cook?
We're going to cook behind the kitchen?
Yeah.
Behind the kitchen?
Yeah.
That was my
Not
understanding
at
on
the,
the
not at
platform.
the end.
No, I think behind the kitchen. You can do it all behind the
Yeah,
kitchen.
okay.
That way it's visible from whatever side of the road they're coming in on.
The problem is if the parking lot is blocked off because we have the displays from the fire department, as we do every year, people are mostly probably going to be coming from B Street and from Heritage Park. And so what they're going to see first is the barbecue, and the tickets are going to be around the side. They're not
Oh,
going
I
to
see
see
what
that.
you're saying. Okay. So then how about putting
I had suggested last year putting tickets behind the church. Because then it'll be the first thing people will get to if they're coming from B Street or the Heritage Park.
Yeah, they go around that way park. I know you'll have pylons.
They're still gonna come to the doors, the front
Yeah,
doors.
they are. I know you'll have pylons right for the museum, but they're parked in front of my house. Sometimes they're parked all the way down to the bridge on the other side of the road.
So what is going to be directly in front of the museum where we had the tent this time? With the Pie Fest? Nothing, right?
Nothing unless you want the tents there instead.
No, I'm still finding
thinking
a
we
place
put-
for this ticket booth.
I'm
gonna
be out front,
say,
Would
because then
that,
people will
would
pass
that
it from the highway.
will it be more visible if you had the ticket booth and the top out front of the museum?
yeah, right on the side there by the ramp. That's what I originally suggested.
No, not back
It's a little
there.
bit, if
in
you're coming
front
from the
of.
highway, it's a little bit hidden if it's behind the ramp. I think what Mary's suggesting is if it's on the front lawn, people driving the highway, it'll be really visible.
And people coming in anyway should be visible. But like if, other years we've had the band back there, okay? So now, so you're taking everything away from back there and just leaving the ticket booth there. And if they don't come in from that driveway, then they can't see it. I'm just thinking it, what, if we have nothing directly in front, so why don't we move the ticket booth just in a bit inside the fence and in front of the museum
Yeah, you could do that too.
and have the pop there or drinks there?
And put the barbecue in the back or on the side.
I would have it at the side
At
because
the-
otherwise the music is gonna be
Yeah,
walked off,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I think the side makes sense as
Yeah,
well. 'cause the
so,
party
yeah,
room
have
would
the
be in
tickets, the music,
parking
the
lot.
barbecue.
All in favor of site?
I don't know.
Just confirming that we're saying side and that's the side next to the ramp. Or is this the side?
I'm
here?
confused now, so.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm thinking if you're, okay, if this is the museum, here's the museum. There's the highway here, the ramp would be here, right? The gazebo's here, so band's here.
Yeah.
Mary's saying having the ticket booth here.
Yeah, just inside the fence,
Yeah.
by our sidewalk towards our front door.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay,
right
there.
in here. So then maybe the tent should be here. Because otherwise, if you put the tents here, the gazebo's here and the band's playing, but nobody can see the band.
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying. Just
Yeah,
to put
yeah.
it, be a thorn in everybody's
We're going
side.
right around the building, but not enough to fill in, to make people go right around the building.
Yeah, I know.
There's a hand.
I'm just gonna ask a question.
Yeah,
Why don't you have them go inside the candy store to get their tickets?
Because
To
there's
draw
not
them in
enough
the candy
space.
store?
Or is there?
Well, we usually give the tickets and they get the cold drink at the same time. I guess you could put barbecue tickets and direct them in there.
Like, that draws them in and they're gonna
Yeah.
go, oh, okay.
Do we want to try that this
But
year?
then you
I
need a
think they
sign
could.
saying,
They
get your ticket inside.
Barbecue tickets inside.
Then you
put it
just
on the
put-
Sidewall when you come in on the ramp.
You put them anywhere you want. You
Yeah.
put a stake in the ground, you put tickets inside the building, ticket.
You could make a sign and put a sign on every side, so that it didn't matter
Then you don't
which
need
direction
the
they came from.
And
And
anybody
there was a
working,
sign that
We'll
said
still
tickets
need the
inside
coolers
building.
because of
So please go inside and
fridge
get your
space
ticket.
possibly.
Yeah.
Instead of the coolers, you can just use the refrigerator for your
And
cold.
it draws them inside to see what you have there for next time.
Okay, smarty pants. Well, that
I'm
sounds
just
like a
throwing
good
it
idea.
out
that's a very good idea.
Didn't want to see you guys, like,
Yeah,
just,
no, that's a good idea.
He listened to us long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry to intrude, I just.
That's okay.
No, no, not at all.
No,
All
no,
opinions
Well
are
said,
welcome.
well,
if you have to sit here, Will, you can pitch in.
And remind me what her store capacity is? Is it 7 people?
Oh, that was pre-COVID, you're at 7 year for sure, 6, 7.
Okay.
People don't mind, they're gonna wait, they have to wait on the ramp under the shade,
Mhm.
so
it's all good.
you just have a flow, they go up the ramp downstairs, unless they're,
So if you go inside for the tickets and your cold drink, where is the barbecue with the condiments gonna be? By the ramp, or where do you want them in the front?
Does the fire department have any preference? Is there the one actually running a barbecue?
how about we just put it under the trailer, under the awning of the trailer?
That
You just
sounds-
tell them to go to the big trailer in the parking lot.
And you'll have the condiments and everything there,
Yeah.
okay?
And then they kind of make a big loop and it gets them through everything and draws
Okay,
attention to the
perfect.
whole property.
Okay, that's solved, okay.
And then that leaves you guys a spare tent or two if you need one for shade or sitting or whatever.
Perfect, okay. That's the end of that.
That's for
No, it's not.
logistics.
Yeah, all
Right,
right.
you volunteered.
Anything else on, okay, so now you're talking about volunteers. So have you started calling any yet?
So I have Steve Moran. I have a note that some of the volunteers that came to Pie Fest or on the list are not available that day. I know some board members are not available that day. So I'll try calling some of the other people that didn't get back to me before.
Okay, so,
And I'll put out a call on Facebook that actually worked quite well for Pie Fest.
okay. The other thing is that you're not having the tours on demand. They're on the hour, every hour.
Yeah.
So you don't need any sitting in those buildings. When you leave, when the tour ends, the door gets locked.
Okay,
You will go to
so
the other building.
I've got, so does that mean that instead of one person doing the tour of each building, we have one person doing tours? Like doing the full tour?
Yes.
Okay, I need to talk to Steve, because I'm not sure if he's comfortable doing that, or if it should be the students and myself, because we have the full spiel.
Yeah, if it's for a big thing like this and we have special exhibits, I think it should be ones that are familiar with the full spiel, that's your students. So you're gonna need You're gonna need a volunteer, I think. Who usually comes and takes care of the tickets? It's, Helen, she isn't available. She isn't available. Okay, that's the first, okay. So you need somebody in there to take care of the tickets. You need somebody working the store. And as they're taking care of the tickets, you probably need two people back there. One's gonna go get the drink. One's gonna take the money. And,
If memory serves me correct, I believe Chris said she helped him. So she,
okay.
stick her inside. She'd probably.
I'll talk to her
Yeah.
first. She didn't
I'm
mention
pretty
it
sure
to
she
me.
mentioned that she would, so.
And as for the barbecue, the firemen are doing the barbecue, so the condiments will all be laid out. That's pretty
And I'll
pretty
be
much
here to help
taken care
Yeah, you don't need that many.
Oh,
No,
volunteers
no,
for this.
no.
Just that you guys are
But it's, yeah, it's not like.
Or
it's
we
a
conference.
big-
Are we at conference?
No,
Isn't that,
sorry, Steve will be back. I made a mistake.
okay,
So he'll be back on the Wednesday night, so he will be able to attend.
okay.
But I'm continuing
Aren't
to
you
be
glad,
post,
Steve?
so I will not be able to
Okay.
attend.
Well, then.
Yeah, I thought we
trying
were-
to
yeah.
Get my head around, wait,
You
I
know
thought we were
why?
gonna be back.
My
there.
calendar, I had Heritage AMO conference on the weekend before with a question mark, and then the Sunday we're actually leaving, so. No, Steve will be here, so. He's gotta be, he's gotta buy all that groceries the night before.
I will be here.
Yeah,
Okay, so I can pass around a sign-up
Coming
sheet.
Tuesday.
Because we are going late, I have the students staggered. So if someone is able to be a volunteer for at least 10 to 2, that would be great, because otherwise I will have to come in from 10 to 7.
Did you ask Janet and Audrey next door yet?
They're away. I've asked them twice.
All right.
What did you stick me with?
I didn't stick anyone with anything.
Oh,
I've got a
gee.
sign-up sheet, you get to choose.
No, I can,
Are you
I'll be
here,
here.
Brent?
You can also make a
Well,
note that
I'm
you
here,
can
but I'm
remind
going to
anytime.
work.
and you can attend,
Oh,
right?
so I can't,
Yeah,
yeah.
And I've got all weekend. I leave on Thursday and I'll come back on Sunday, so.
Is Nora gonna come? Oh, no, she'll be with me. Yeah, she'll be with me.
No.
Sorry.
No,
took all your
Nora won't
volunteers
be
away.
here.
Nope, she won't be here.
Chris, are you available?
Jillian, that lady that served with us, that
Jane
sat with
Olin?
me talking all the time, yeah, she said.
She's
she said-
not available.
Oh, she is. 'Cause she-
Yes, are you still there?
I talked to her.
Yes,
about
I'm
it.
here.
Okay, will you be available?
that day.
It's, let me see.
You can always let me know if you're not sure now. You can email me or call the museum later if you want.
Yeah, I'll email you and let you know. I'm starting a new job this week, so my schedules are all over the place.
Only fair.
barbecue is till 7. Tickets are just for what? Just for the food?
Which you're just gonna have to sign up as barbecue tickets.
I mean,
Barbecue tickets, like to direct them into the office for barbecue tickets. And like I said, as soon as I'll give you an estimate. What do burgers go now for?
I know, I was just gonna ask, what is our pricing? Have we
Yeah,
decided?
yeah, well, I think we should do a price tonight, and then, when I get the price of the meat, that may change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't need those prices on the posters, Jillian.
It's the,
Pardon?
We don't need the prices on the posters. Definitely not, because that's subject to change. What does a burger cost at, what's,
I think there's 7.
this thing.
$7.50? That's for a burger, and then you have to pay for your drink, right?
Okay, I'll be here the whole time.
Yeah, so
10
we're,
o'clock on.
or
10 to 7?
Yeah, I can.
the drink
I can
doesn't
be
come
here.
with the burger?
Okay. Yeah, we will.
I can eat
sell
here,
it,
see?
But some people say I don't want to drink. So,
No, because I don't know how much you have.
$8 for a burger and drink.
That's in
Yeah, $7 for just the burgers. Does that sound fair?
Yeah,
Probably.
Okay.
For a drink.
Okay.
Actually, you know what, for that, That should fit.
I mean,
I don't see a
Yeah.
problem with that. We can set it on its own.
So $7 for a drink.
Yeah.
What about a sausage and drink? Same kind of price as a burger?
You know what? I would
Let's see
see
how
prices
quick that's
the same
enough option.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
burgers and
Yeah.
sausages.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll come for 10.
And then the hot
Like I
dog.
said, I'll have lunch here, that's all
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Where did I just go and I had, it was $5 for me to have a hot dog and a drink.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, that sounds fair.
I think it sounds fair. Okay.
All those
$5 for a hot dog
condiments.
and a drink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and $8 for a burger or a sausage and a drink. I think that's fairly reasonable. But that's subject to change. I'll let you know when the price of the meeting.
What's your
What the price was.
So $8 for a burger or sausage and a drink. And if they don't want a drink, it's, you just take $1 off. And for hot dog and a drink, it's $5.
So does that mean we're going to have a drink ticket as well as a,
No,
no?
no.
What's
We
this
can
here
have
for,
just a burger or a sausage drink.
Julian?
What we did the last time is for water, seats or coke. So if there's no,
Okay.
nothing on there, they're not getting it. And they're not leaving the office unless they have
I
their
guess
drink.
someone else for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not
they'll
gonna
have
get
their
their drink.
They're gonna get their drink with their ticket, and if they don't buy a drink, they're not getting it, so.
So it really doesn't matter, whatever.
Probably cover lunch.
It'll just-
whatever they hand in,
It'll be the color
The color
coordinated
coordinated
for the
for the-
hot dog.
Yeah, so you want me for the silent auction or retail volunteer?
Probably silent auctions, that'll be outside, whereas the retail I can sort of help out
Did you
with.
say Nora's not gonna be here?
No, she's going with me. The annual conference, and then we're heading out, hopefully for a whale watch.
Right?
I believe in past years, we've added 50 cents for cheese, or cheese is included in that $8. If they
Oh,
want
yeah.
it.
Put add cheese, yeah,
I think it was normally 50 cents in previous years.
yeah. Okay. And we need different colors of,
We still have loads of different colors.
okay, good. And so if they want the cheese, put a C on it for cheese on the ticket, that's all. Then I usually make a thing, so whoever's working back there is showing what color is what.
If it's for fundraising, like those numbers just sound so cheap to me. Like I would go like at least like $10 for the burger or sausage. Like $8, one, you have to make change if someone's bringing you bills and you got to give them toonies and things. I think we should push it up a little bit. Like, I mean, I'm used to spending $15-20 when I go and get burger, fries, and a drink. Like $8 is like, all right, let's get 15 of them. Like it just seems too cheap. And if we're gonna do it, we might as well try and make some money off of it.
Well, yeah, we can look at that, and this isn't set in stone yet, Chris. I still have to see what the price of the meat is, which,
But you have a good point,
Yes.
Chris. No change. Say $10,
yeah.
no change. Yeah.
We still have to carry a float no matter what.
Yeah.
yeah. What does everybody think?
Well,
about
if
that?
we actually, I mean, it depends. But Mary, you had thought maybe having tickets on porch, if we had the tickets inside and they're part of the retail duties rather than separate.
How would you be able to code that so we know what we sold? As long as you code it, yeah. And they can pay with debit or,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Or it might be simpler to have it in terms of traffic out on the porch anyway. Sorry.
What does everybody think about the $10? that Chris
Well,
has
depending
suggested?
on what the food cost is,
Yeah,
you know,
but no rate
I don't
on
want
it.
to overcharge either.
No, it's gonna be a minimum of $8. We know that for a fact.
yeah,
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 so.
yeah.
So is that what your decision is? You want to wait and see what the price of meat is?
I'd like to see it. but-
Okay, okay, Chris, I think, people would like to see the prices of meat before we do go ahead with that number. But I see what you're saying. Okay, anything else on Heritage Day? It's getting really late here.
We've got some silent auctions, some follow-up calls in the day. I'll be working on that the rest of this week.
Okay, the one thing I did notice with the silent auction, you've got tanks and the propane as one unit. We usually auction off the tanks and then we usually auction off the large. It's two different units.
The tanks are empty, and last year,
Oh, are they really empty?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's just two tanks, they're new tanks, so they have
So
to
it's empty
purchase them.
tanks, and then it's a gift certificate for Bill.
we did sell them because I bid on just the tanks last year. I did that, and then
Yes,
somebody
and-
said there's no propane in them. So
Yes.
what are those tanks worth, Steve?
They're worth about $40 a piece, $45 a piece.
Or
They probably
Bill.
give you a coupon to fill them.
Well, they gave us a gift certificate to Bill for Bill
But
propane,
last-
liters of propane.
Yeah,
So that's, yeah,
Last
so
that's for a furnace.
Yeah, but usually there's a gift card with the propane tanks, because I bought quite a few from museum auctions. And you just take them in and exchange them.
Last year there wasn't,
Yeah, there wasn't one,
and
because I
then
bid on it.
this year there wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just the tanks and just the gift certificate.
Just call and verify.
Pardon?
Maybe you should just call yours and just verify.
Well,
I went in and picked them
well,
up.
that's what it is. It's, you get the empty tank, you get the certificates.
yeah. You
We
take,
can, you can put them all into one.
But then you
One,
have
but you
to
can't. We
bid a
didn't.
lot, yeah.
And
Yeah,
we didn't. They were
them
separate.
Someone was
separate.
You
disappointed
bought
when they got
yourself a
empty
new
propane.
tank, and you bought, anybody else could get the certificate.
yeah.
Okay, so
That's how it
I
went
can
last year.
separate them if you want.
I would
Just three
separate
different
them,
lots?
yeah, 2 different lots. No, 3 different lots, yeah, one for each tank, and you can put empty tanks, right?
Yep.
Because if you, like you say, they're worth $30 or $40.
Yeah,
You
they're
put them in-
20-pound tanks.
Yeah, they're big, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, you have-
Ones you get for your barbecue.
Well, I know, but there's 20 and 30-pound tanks.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, they're 20 pounds by the looks of the photo, Steve.
Okay. So
Which-
20-pound tank for $35.
Yeah, so empty, right? Yeah,
oh, yeah. New tank and
new tank,
just put empty in.
yeah, and with brackets empty, that's all.
That's what they did last year.
That was the only thing I had noticed that, on the Facebook page, okay. You've got all the advertising set up for that, Julie?
Yep, so, you've got an event on Facebook. An event post was emailed to CTV for the community calendar. This post on nipissing.com. And an event post was submitted to my RFA now, which is also.
They all have the dates on it, right?
Yeah, okay. Mary has information on the event going into the American News, and, but I was informed that Laurel's Temple may not be available to cover the event. Fire department's kind of prepared to stay on fire hall sign already. Also just,
Do you usually get advice in the news when it's on, so somebody will be here that day?
I did email them last year, I never got a reply from them.
Okay, well, I can send an email into them and ask them who's around that weekend, because whoever the reporter is around, they got a bunch of
So you can-
other reporters, so somebody, whoever's covering that weekend, make sure that they know about it.
I'm pretty sure Vic and Anthony will be there. I thought they told me at the playground.
They were sent.
Yeah, they
emails and
said that they
postcards.
received them and that they would be there. As far as I know, they'll both be there.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the news.
Yes, but I just thought of that before I was like that.
Just a side note, the Heritage Day event plan composed by the board in 2015 is slightly out of date at some point. It may be worth the board's while to update it. It just has some things that, unless we would like to add back in talent contests, the vendors.
No, I
And
don't think
part of
those,
the
I mean, those can
is-
be changed, those things can be changed yearly.
Yeah.
As long as the bones of it are there.
Yeah.
That's all that's really important.
We can do that in the middle of the winter sometime.
Yeah.
Or at the first meeting in the spring.
Okay. So the movie in the park, August 27th, museum selling candy, cold drinks, and fingers crossed candy floss. So the movie's set to start at about 8:30 p.m. I was wondering if anyone's available to volunteer that evening to help with the candy floss. Ideally, we would set up at 7 p.m. or be set up for 7 p.m. in the park. You would batch make the candy floss before the museum. The movie starts so that the noise isn't interfering with the movie. So if I can have at least one volunteer to help with candy floss and cover sales, ideally, if 2 people are available, 1 person can help with candy floss, it'll make it much, much smoother, and then 1 person can handle sales.
I would love to be there. My niece is getting married that day.
Well, congratulations to her. So that's Saturday, August 27th, from 7 to about 8:30.
I should be.
If I can figure out how to use candy floss.
Well,
I'm actually, I have company, but the company I'm having, they're pretty easygoing, and Beverly might come and help me.
Bring them to the movie. Bring them
I'll
to the
check,
movie.
I'll check, and I will let you know.
I will be there. I'm just,
Okay.
from experience, it's easier and easier on the machine if there's someone pouring sugar while someone's
Yeah, that makes sense.
picking it up, and then
I'll be free on the 27th.
Yeah, you'll be here doing the spaghetti supper.
okay.
What do they call that park?
Here.
I think the idea was to have the candy booth remain open until the end of the movie, but the candy floss machine, we're gonna shut it off at 8:30.
And the candy will be moved over there if we don't want people in the dark walking over to the museum. There's that small booth over there. And just if it needs refrigeration, just bring it back before the movie starts.
I don't think we'll take over any candy that needs refrigeration.
Well, if it was really warm out, there's chocolate and stuff like that that might melt. If it was really hot.
We can stick it in, like, actually, we can stick it in the-
Yeah. I think it'll be cool enough by that time of year. Okay, anything else now? Fall festival.
So this is gonna be the last day of the museum's open for the season. Is the museum board willing to sell the candy at 50% off for this day?
Yes, I think that's,
Fair enough.
yep, we'll get our costs back.
I've got about 8 people who either submitted the application or have verbally told me they'll be interested. I've got a poster draft. Again, I welcome any and all changes. This is done really quickly. Just short notice.
What I would like to see is a call out for vendors. When you put the poster out, is there a call out on there? I think it should be separate, Jillian, a call out, do you not?
We're gonna have, how many posts are we gonna have
Yeah, I
though?
know.
Because if we have too many in each location, it's gonna take up too much of their space.
I think especially on Facebook, the call-out should definitely be separate.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too, because,
That's totally fine.
Because people may be interested in selling something, but they may not be interested in coming to it even.
yes,
though- you know what I
exactly.
mean?
And if we have to call out, and let's say we get a dozen vendors, we could actually put it in small print on one of the flyers, because somebody might say, oh God, I know that guy, yeah, I want to go out there and see that, or,
Yeah.
and if anybody knows anybody that has extra vegetables from their garden, the produce would be nice to have a couple of farm stands there.
Might find it has even
No.
How much extra you got there, Steve? Do you usually put it out? Or
No,
you can at all, just one?
I can everything.
Okay, all right.
And I've given, like last year, I probably gave 50 pounds of carrots to the local food banks.
Um,
Don't like it to go to waste. And I did waste some last year.
So, yeah, let me know of any changes you'd like to make. So when does the board want the poster for this event distributed, since our next meeting is until September 7th-ish? Do you guys want them to go at the same time as the Heritage Day posters or wait?
So it's 20 days after Heritage Day if we have this fall market.
So if you put up the posters for the event right after Heritage Day.
Yeah.
And get the other ones down.
Okay,
Okay, but as far as trying to get vendors,
That should be done now.
get on
know.
Facebook or
And get-
wherever
yeah,
you're
sorry,
going to
and
do it
I
and do it now.
Yeah, that has to be.
Yeah, you could do it anytime because you want them to commit.
Yeah, I know a couple people with mobile farm stands. That might,
So
Okay.
make it look inviting on the call out for it, Fall Festival and Market, Nipissing Township Museum. Call out for vendors.
so, and this is just on social media, this isn't a physical poster that's going out, or are you doing a physical poster?
You could put a physical poster out as well, if you wanted to. Yeah, I don't think it would hurt as
looking
much.
for vendors,
Yeah.
poster would be good.
Yeah, looking for vendors, exactly. You could put the museum phone number on here, because there's nothing on here, no talk about it.
No, but just on the one for vendors.
Yeah, just on the one for vendors.
The call for
Yeah.
vendors.
So,
I just would rather not see my only suggestion about the flyer for it, for that event, is after this one that we're doing now, because people will confuse the two. Yes, okay,
Yeah.
but as far as the call for vendors,
That could go now.
yes,
Yes.
because you're just gonna have that basics on there that's gonna know it's
Yeah.
not,
Okay.
that's something in the future.
okay, so for the actual event posters, because this is gonna happen before the next board meeting, are board members willing to come by the museum, pick up posters to distribute in outlying areas, or should I be distributing some of them? I mean, I can distribute the ones in the village. I need a volunteer to come and stay with the students if I'm going to be going further afield.
No, when you get the posters ready, when they're ready, send all the board members an email and tell them we're ready. to
And then we can pick them up and you can do our thing.
And they will all tell you as they're picking them up where they're going to distribute them, so that there's no doubles.
Well, we should email her and tell her that we'll do it and we're going to distribute.
Yeah. And if you can get the call out for this right away, I'll take a look at it and share it with us right away.
Mhm.
And then you can get our feedback over email. Okay, anything else on Fall Festival?
The student said they'd be willing to work this day, even though it's past their contract. I checked with the office, this is all right with them. And it will help the students make up some of the hours they've taken off this summer, so it won't interfere with the hours.
Oh,
Oh, that's
That,
good.
that'll work
Yes.
out. Perfect, okay. Anything else on Fall Festival? No? Okay, we're good, okay. We will move on now, to the township webpage Facebook status.
A new Facebook page has been created. I've been added as the administrator. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to update the page, and I've been continuing to use the original page at the moment, just to make sure that we still have a presence on social media. I'm gonna get students to help me start transferring photos. Our biggest limitation right now is that we only have one computer, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the computer.
Well, how long would it take to spend, what, an hour a day on putting the pictures on social media? Would that be
Yes.
reasonable?
Yes, if that's the priority. I have been prioritizing events and the items that are being donated by Jane Russell, as that was time Civic. But I can make sure that is done every day if that's the priority.
Does everybody think that we should have something regularly on the social media about the museum? I mean, how long would that take a day to do that?
Definitely.
Like, yeah, I don't think it would
You
take,
mean every day?
well, every couple of days.
Every couple of
No,
days.
that-
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I think there's two things, right? So what Jillian's talking about is the transferring from the existing Facebook page to a new Facebook page. What Liz, what it sounds like you're talking about is the general updates on the existing one or the new one when we move over and transition to that. So I think like there's two separate things. The actual transition is going to take quite a bit of time. I would imagine it's going to be 20 to 30 hours worth of work to do all of that transition and get it to a place where everything is set up that way. But the day to day, I mean, you could spend 20, 30 minutes and get a post up and have that kind of stuff. So I think there's two different timelines we have to work towards.
what I didn't realize is you're talking 20 to 30 hours to update the new Facebook? Is that what you're
Well, it
anticipating?
depends on how easy it is to transfer all the content from the previous page to the new page. And
Do
for
we
a
need
while,
all
we're
the
gonna,
contents copied?
not all the content, but the things like photos and stuff like that, and other sort of
Yeah.
seasonal administrative information. And then for a while, we're gonna have to upkeep both sites until people get used to the new page.
Oh, I see. Can we use both pages? We add the new stuff to the new page. Or
Yes,
I'll lend you a computer and I'll give you a hand for an hour or so. And
oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Because even if we have to run both pages right now, I mean,
Or just, why would we not just
Yeah,
start
I'll lend
using
you
the
a
new one and then
yeah.
we don't have
start
any
using the new
courses
one
starting
and
for,
then
Slowly
slowly
add
not
it.
doing anything to the old one?
I don't have any courses starting for about a month,
Don't even
month and a
have your
half. So I
Okay,
just
yeah.
have to get-
I don't know, once you got, you're gonna have to
So you just need on the internet.
But that's transferred.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on the webpage or Facebook status?
again, we'll have to collect content and submit it to the township to be put on the website, and we just haven't had computer time to do that.
Will has just offered a computer and
Yes.
time. Okay, great. Any more questions on that or any more ideas? No? Okay, we'll move on to suppliers. I'm assuming we're talking about candy suppliers, Brenda?
That's from the previous.
don't-
minutes.
That I'm aware of, we haven't found any new ones that way. No, okay. We have been buying wholesale at some local places, so that's helped. I picked up stuff here and there. We also budgeted, I believe there's $1,000 for giftware. And I did speak to Sherry and Yan from Fiverr, and they are working on getting us a price for the old fashioned t-shirts that people are still asking for. So because it's budgeted, if they can get that done this year, we'll get them done this year.
That being the ones that have the embroidered,
The brown and black that have the big Nipissing Museum on the front.
no,
I
right?
don't
Yeah.
have one of those.
No, I don't have one either. No, they sold out just
I
like that.
know.
We didn't
Yeah,
get
Yeah,
it.
they were too
At
nice.
least three, probably four people.
Yes, yes, so we'd be looking at probably being able to purchase at least 100 of them in different sizes, so I will let you know, I'll keep you updated on that. But if they're ready to go and they've got all the information, I'm just going to give them the okay, because it is in the budget to go ahead and get them.
Yeah.
Okay. July 2023 event, we're talking about No Pie Fest, okay, I think
Yeah,
we've
that's
already.
deferred to next.
Yeah.
Yes,
meeting, right?
yeah, and banners, was that the Jeff Fernier banner?
Yeah.
Okay, we've already discussed that. So we'll move on, is there any new business? Okay, so the next meeting
Okay,
is,
well, I have one question.
Yes.
The movie in the park, is that the fire department doing this?
Recreation.
Recreation?
Yeah.
Nipissing, it's recreation committee?
yes,
Okay,
you getting that ready for the Nugget?
so,
Okay.
they'll make the news.
Okay, oh my goodness, that's what I had,
Yeah, they're already aware of it.
but Mary will put it in her column.
Oh,
Mary has a column and he'll make.
Oh, okay.
With events, so,
We put in another.
yeah, yeah. Okay, any other comments?
I don't know what.
Okay, next meeting, September 7th, 7 PM here. So that'll be just before our Fall Fest. So any questions or any concerns about
We
that?
don't need anything else before the full fest.
Like what? I don't think so.
We should be good.
We should be good. Do you think we need another meeting? I mean, that
So-
will be the one before Fall Fest.
Okay, so on that, since it'll be close to the meeting, would we like to do the tours of the museum every hour on the hour or the market as well? That'll affect what I'm asking volunteers to do.
Okay, we can decide on that maybe closer to the event, but it's 11 to 4.
Yeah.
You could even take it down to 3 tours for the day. Like a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and a 3 o'clock tour, you know what I mean? Or an 11, a 1, and a 3. Whatever would
Does
work.
that sound good to everyone?
Sure.
I think 3 tours for the day would
Well,
be,
then, as long as it's posted,
yeah, as long as we advertise it, exactly.
and put a sign outside the door,
Yeah,
next, or tours at,
yeah,
for the day.
Sure enough.
yeah. And it
If
can
somebody
be,
walks up to it before,
and it can go when we get the Fall Festival, we can have that on there. At least for the social media one. Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting. We're going to adjourn. It's 9:38. We have a mover and a seconder.
Chris.
Chris,
Yeah.
Chris and Rob.
All right, very good.